And when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off.
Go ahead and say it, Ed. Go Tigers!
When I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
You like that? You like that?
F it. Jamar's down there somewhere.
In the New Orleans Saints select Marcus Davenport.
No!
Splash Brothers. Yeah.
It's playoff. Keep going, Brace.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs.
If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
What is up, y'all, and welcome to Dirty Boot Sports Podcast, episode 26. We got Wild Bill, Clay, Chance, Josh, and myself on the mic tonight.
Welcome back, Kyle.
It's good to be back. I was out with the COVID, the Rona. It's slowly making its way through my house, but we're going to be all right.
We have activated Kyle from the COVID IL.
Yeah, so
there we go.
We should announce the transaction.
I might be a
earlier.
little sniffly still, but I'm good. I haven't had fever in like 48 hours, so we're all good.
Hey, nobody else in here caught it, so that's always good.
I know, and I had it on the last podcast. I was here. That next day, I went to work and tested positive. And, y'all, it wasn't like a slow 15-minute turn positive. It was hot. As soon as that sample hit, I was like, God, dog.
You had the good COVID.
Yeah, the good kind.
or the bad kind, like Bill says.
Honestly,
bad cancer?
I know we're not a medical podcast, but it was a little rougher than
Well, I don't know. If Rayleigh was here, we'd have 3 medical
really?
people in here. That would be scary.
We could be a medical podcast.
Yeah, we could. Be a nurse podcast.
I mean,
sure.
wait till football. We're gonna get injury updates.
I can't wait, man.
Before we move on, Dr. Chow was wrong for the first time ever on Twitter.
He was
wrong about Zach Wilson. He was like, "Oh, that's a definite ACL." Nope, ACL's perfectly fine. Might be a meniscus, but
yeah. And hopefully he just needs it trimmed.
Yeah.
Is what I was hearing on the way over here.
Those bone bruises can be pretty bad, though.
Yeah.
So what episode are we on? Number 26, right?
26, the Deuce McAllister podcast for Rain Man over there.
Yep.
We were before
Deuce.
the pod. We were asking, hey, what famous ball player had 26? And he was like, Deuce McAllister.
That's awfully
Slash
impressive.
Kmart sucks.
Daryl Strawberry, maybe.
Oh
my
I just
God.
looked it up.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Yeah. Should have brought
he
some
number
baking
26?
soda up here.
Apparently.
Wade Boggs
Okay, Wade Boggs is cool.
Old school.
and
Good Lord.
for the Yankees.
Oh, yeah.
Adrian Peterson when he was on the
Yep,
Yeah,
Redskins,
that's yeah.
because he wore 29 in Minnesota.
26 is such a weird number.
Yeah, it is.
13 times 2.
Let's just go Deuce.
Yeah.
Yeah, Deuce McAllister will work. But tonight we're going to talk some MLB news. Got to get into the Tatis scandal. We're going to talk some NFL preseason because football is back. Thank you, Lord. We're going to talk some freezing cold takes by author Fred Segal. That's a big interview for us. Can't wait to have him on.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited for that.
Finally, we're going to break into our Dirty 5 NFL disappointments.
And that might be we might go about an hour on that.
Yeah,
'Cause I think we're going to mention some of these names and just go down memory lane.
Oh, it's going to be so much fun because I got like 15 listed.
Yeah.
Not going to lie. I just kept on coming to me.
And the freezing cold takes guy is going to partake in the Dirty 5, which I think it's always cool when the guests give their Dirty 5.
He said he's going to
Yep.
bring his Gen X perspective.
There
So
you go.
I don't know how old he thinks we are. So he might think we're all little young guys. And then we got Bill over here who.
Bill, what do you
Yeah,
fall in?
I'm at the
It's a baby boomer.
no. I'm at the very beginning of Gen X.
Gen X.
Gen
okay.
X is supposed to be like 1965
I'm a-
or 7.
So,
So are we going to know any of your players? That's the question.
That's a very good question.
Josh, are you a millennial or are you at the end of Gen X? Because I know I'm a young millennial.
What's the year?
Josh is older than you. Kyle.
Yeah,
I know.
I'm a lot older than you think.
A lot of, okay. Okay. So you're Gen Xer then for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you born
I
in
don't
the
know what I
70s?
am.
Yes.
Yeah,
74.
Gen
You
X
are.
is 65 to 80.
Good Lord, Josh.
65 to 80. And then,
I thought you were like Rayleigh's age.
so that means I'm a millennial?
That's a good thing. though,
Millennial is 81 to 96.
You age
So
like
you're-
my people, man. Like
you're
I'm
millennial.
Japanese.
And I'm
Hey,
Gen
I'll
Z.
take that.
I'm the only Gen Z on the pod. So
No Gen Ys?
It
what is
shows.
Gen Y?
I read a book on that. I
I
don't know.
read a book on
Why do the Gen Zers always have such a recency bias? Huh?
Yeah.
Hey.
They don't know how to look
That's why
up
we
the
got you
old
paired
stuff.
with Bill over there, though, man. It's a good balance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oldest and youngest.
And it helps that Bill's so good with numbers.
And we're the two that run this pod.
And don't you
Literally.
don't you forget it.
Yeah.
Hence all the IT gear over there.
You shut your filthy little mouth.
Yeah.
I got that mute button right here under my finger. So.
Hey, Clay, that's Walter Payton on the screen right there if you were
Yeah,
curious.
sweetness. I know.
Sweetness.
Infamously did not score a touchdown in that Super Bowl.
He will not be on our list.
He will not.
No.
So I want.
Let's go ahead and dive in.
Yeah, I want Chance to start it off with. Do you want to talk Tatis first? Do you want to talk Braves? What do you?
Yeah,
what do you wanna
go Tatis.
I'll talk about Tatis. Tatis is a freaking bum, and he must have felt the pressure of old Juan Soto coming over to the Padres, and then I guess he decided to go rub some cream on himself.
No, he had a ringworm.
He had a ringworm. However, I did see somebody on the tweet say that he is a dermatologist, and that is not a drug you prescribe for ringworms.
Yeah, I saw someone say he could have just went to CVS and bought some type of cream for like $10.
Yes, they call bull crap, and I call bull crap as well.
But instead, he went to Circle K and got his medication.
Oh, from
behind the counter.
Yeah.
With the white tea.
If it came with a white tea,
My friend John Jones gave this to me. He said it was clear.
Another bum while we're talking about it.
He had a ringworm too.
But honestly,
He had a white ring around his nose.
is this becoming
Both sides.
Is this becoming his legacy though? Like at the beginning of the season, we had the motorcycle wreck.
Yep.
Right now, we've got this scandal. Personally, I think it's bad for baseball. I think he could be a great guy to bring in young audiences.
Oh, absolutely.
If he would just get his crap together.
And don't get me wrong, he's a great baseball player, and he honestly is what kind of got like the pimping the home runs going. Mm-hmm. He was kind of like the first one. He did it before Acuna really did. Like really stand there, admire it, flip the bat real far.
Acuna had Freddie up his butt, apparently.
Exactly, he did. But so Tatis deserves some credit for kind of making the game more exciting and more fun again. But like you said, he has just really shot himself in the foot for the past 6 months now.
Have you seen the comments that his teammates?
Yeah, I was about to tell you to look that up and read them because they're really alarming.
Here's Mike Clevenger, one of the pitchers for the Padres.
Notable other bum and overrated.
I mean, he's solid.
I'm sorry.
Solid pitcher.
He's overrated. But okay.
He's solid. It's the second time we've been disappointed with him, and you hope he grows up and learns from this and learns that it's more than just him right now. And then Joe Musgrove.
Hold on. That is from Mike Clevenger, who has been on the team for less than a year. So I don't know how he feels like. Yeah, I don't know how he can really feel like he has the right to really say we and all that kind of stuff. He didn't even play last year because he was hurt when they traded for him. Then he hurt himself again. So screw Mike Clevenger. Go ahead with Joe Musgrove. I respect him.
Oh, go ahead.
Musgrove said he's a young kid. He's going to learn his lessons or whatnot. But ultimately, I think you got to start showing a little bit of remorse, and you got to start showing us that you're committed to it and you want to be here.
How old is he? 23?
Might be younger than that, honestly. He's
He
pretty
might
young.
be. Let me look
He might
it
be
up.
21, 22.
And that was from the $100 million man, Joe Musgrove, by the way, who has really turned his career around.
San Diego guy.
The thing about
good for him.
baseball is that it's so hard to get in the Hall, and it's so rich in history and great players before you.
Oh, he's done.
It doesn't take. Yeah, he might. And I'm not gonna say he's done, but he probably.
He won't get in on the sports writers ballot.
I don't know.
Well, the only thing that will save him is the way that we look at the ballot in 20 years.
Yeah, that's gonna be the only thing.
And I do think there's going to be a change of heart on that.
Well,
at
another
some
one.
point, Barry Bonds has to get in.
Well,
about
if they
Robbie
don't let
Cano?
him in, they cannot let Tatis in.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely.
What about Robbie Cano? Y'all don't think he gets in?
I don't think he does because he'll retire probably
he's
at the
had
end of
big
this
ones.
year. He'll probably retire at the end of this year. Then you have to wait 5 years. It's still going to be the same process. It's going to be probably the same guys, voting. And I'm with Josh. If you don't let Barry in, you can't let Robinson Cano or even Tatis
Any of those
in.
guys.
Well,
Yeah.
Cano will have 5 years, and then he'll have 10 years on the ballot, right?
Tatis is 23.
Yeah, okay.
But too, Cano is also kind of borderline on WAR. Anyways, he's got 68.1 WAR, which I mean that's a lot, and they say over 60.
I mean, when I think second baseman since 2000, I mean,
He's by far one of the best.
Yeah.
arguably the best.
Yeah.
I can't think of anyone that would go over him since 2000.
I'm telling you, that's,
maybe
and I mean, he's got
Jose
a career
Altuve.
301 batting average.
No, that's
Exactly.
true.
It is ridiculously
really.
hard to make it into the Hall of Fame of baseball,
Yeah.
as opposed to.
Well, if he would have been clean, he'd be in there probably second or third ballot.
Yeah.
Would be my guess. But I don't know. I hate Tatis though, because whenever him, Soto, and Acuna all took the league kind of by storm, I've been on record with Clay for sure saying he was the lowest of the three for me, because Soto is he's going to be such a great bat for such a long time. And, yeah, he's got the it factor, but he can't do it in the field as well. I mean, they're already talking about changing the guy's position. He's 23 years old. And, like, there's concern that he's not going to play shortstop.
You're going to have to do the same thing with Soto, though.
Yeah, but so then you have to look at it, is Soto or Tatis a better hitter? Soto's a perennial hitter.
Then Tatis has the major speed advantage. How many? So there's 5 tools. Tatis probably great at 4, and then Soto's great at 3.
Yeah, but Soto's great, and
least
Tatis is great for...
Tatis will play some field. Soto's not going to play any field in 2 years.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. Like, there's more of an argument for them, too.
I like Tatis.
Yeah, I get why people are, like, drawn to him, but I've never been a big fan of him.
Another aspect of this, and y'all don't follow this, but in the sports card world, your big 3 in Major League Baseball right now, as far as collectors go, are Soto, Tatis, and Acuna. And you really kind of can trail them in their careers by their card prices. Soto's is still up there. For whatever reason, when Acuna went down with the injury, everybody was still hopeful on him. But Soto or Tatis is in the tank. So, if you think he's going to be something in a few years, you want to make a little, cheap investment. He's not a bad one.
Could y'all see them trading him this offseason?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Really?
So
you don't think he's more expendable now?
Huh?
You don't think he's more expendable now since they have
he's
Soto?
still the heart of the franchise.
Really?
Because I don't think Soto is a long-term situation for them.
Machado's like, what?
It'll be harder to get rid of him.
Oh, it's definitely going to be hard to get rid of him.
Manny Machado say, I'm effing Manny Machado?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
That's why.
Yes, he is.
He's still only like 30.
Yeah.
He's crazy small.
He's a lock for the Hall.
He's going to be first or second ballot. I love Manny Machado. I absolutely love him.
So if this comes out, the thing with Tatis and the PED
ringworm,
allegedly ringworm.
Yeah.
If this happens 2 weeks ago before the trade deadline,
do the
Padres still go for Soto?
Nope. I don't think they do.
I think they do.
I don't think they do.
And you could almost say that.
And how many games out are they of first place in the West?
16.
Like 16, yeah.
Well, I don't know. They were never going for the West.
Yeah.
And their GM, he's freaking crazy. So he's the type of guy that'd be like, oh, Soto. I mean, Tatis is out. Let's go get Soto. Like he almost would have done it as a replacement.
He went kind of crazy last year at the deadline too.
Yeah,
getting Clevenger and guys like that,
and going for Scherzer
Can you
and Trey Turner.
Being a fan of theirs though, and the roller coaster ride they've been on the last few weeks.
Yeah,
I would have to respect it though, because the man he's trying to make them like a contender.
Oh,
I
definitely.
get that. So, as a fan, if I was a fan of them, I'd be pleased.
If 1 or 2 wrong moves, then that whole thing can blow up in his face, and all them prospects are.
I agree.
But I don't know. I think they still would have went for Soto, but I don't think Soto's a guy that in 2 years he might not be a Padre.
I could see him going for the money somewhere,
like a lower end team.
Where would he go?
Yeah. Whoever wants to pay him $450 million.
There's no way they would do it, but it would be fun to
they
see
could
it in Miami.
Yeah.
Golly, with Jazz Chisholm.
I mean, they've paid people before, then they just trade them immediately.
Giancarlo,
yeah.
Yeah. That would be.
Well, Chisholm would be a Brave by then.
Ah, man.
Shoot.
Oh, no, we got Vaughn Grissom.
We got Vaughn Grissom
taking
now. We don't need
that
him.
spot, yeah.
So who did they give? I was trying to see, looking back on the Soto trade, who
right
the
there.
Padres.
Yeah, C.J. Abrams.
C.J. Abrams, who just got called up to the Nationals today. Mackenzie Gore is an elite pitcher. He's going to be elite, like in the next probably 2 years, I think.
James Wood is a huge prospect.
James Wood's big. He's like a 19-year-old, I think.
Big time bat. Yeah.
Robert Hassel III is like top 10 prospect in baseball, period. And people love the Susana guy. I'd never heard of him.
I think he throws hard.
Yeah, and people love him. So
one thing that Machado said after the situation, he said, "We've gotten so far this year without him."
Oh,
so I mean that's something that almost
here's
gives
my
me,
finger right here, Fernando.
And that makes me think even more about that they would have went for Soto regardless.
Yeah, he's right, because I mean they ain't had him all year, and they still got 60-something wins. So
yeah,
it's definitely gonna be something to watch this offseason, I still think.
So you want to talk a little bit about them Braves that are on a 6-game win streak since I lit a fire under the team?
He did.
I guess we could talk about.
He's back on the bandwagon.
He's back on it now.
I was never off. I watched every game.
I can feel the love in here today.
Yeah.
I wonder if we would have felt the love if Michael Harris and company would not have came back to win today against the Marlins.
Well, I did that. I took a nap in the 3rd inning, woke up in the 9th, roll over, put on my glasses, look at the TV. Michael Harris hits a homer first pitch. So I made this comeback happen. Similar to Max Fried's walk-off against the Marlins last year. I did the same thing.
On the 4th of July?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, Braves are playing decent baseball. I wouldn't say we're playing good baseball.
Got 6 wins in a row.
Von Grissom,
the Red Sox wins were impressive, but the Marlins suck. The biggest development, I think, this weekend is with our 3 guys that started the 2 games in the doubleheader in today's game. All 3 of them right now are on an airplane to Gwinnett because they're going back to AAA.
Yeah.
And we got 5 innings out of Kyle Muller, but could have really been more than 5 if some little things would have went his way.
Good, like 80 pitches, I think.
Yeah. Ian Anderson went 6 last night. He's getting demoted. And then Bryce Elder today decided that he wanted to throw strikes for the first time this season. He went 7 strong.
Hey, he threw strikes that first game we watched.
And then after that, he started walking people. He had 2 walks today and like 10 Ks.
Yeah.
That's huge for him. So that's good to see. But,
the
Michael Harris is an absolute star.
The actual starting rotation's got some arm fatigue and stuff. So it was honestly a really smart move.
It was a very smart move.
To pretty much trust in your team to win these Marlins games, regardless of who you started.
I mean, Max Fried's on the concussion IL right now. And then you got Kyle Wright, who's, like you said, is struggling with arm fatigue.
And I think they wanted to give Strider a break after that Mets game.
I would still not be surprised if we don't see him start getting pushed back a day or two couple more times.
He's got to. You can't throw 102.4 miles an hour.
Yeah, the Braves people are saying we don't believe in, like, shortening innings or whatever innings watching. But that guy, he's going to be good, man. And he's been so great. Like he's like 23, 24. He was a 4-year guy in college, and last year was his only year in the minors, and then he came up this year, and I don't know.
Shout out to his college program.
Yeah, Clemson. Yeah.
Yeah, but
he's already had Tommy John, so that helps too.
5.5 back with the Mets, and we're welcoming them for 4 tomorrow night.
That's a good time.
In Atlanta.
Switch it around.
In Atlanta, but without our 2 best pitchers pitching, probably.
I mean,
that bothers me.
It's not confirmed.
Well, if any of them pitch, it's going to be one.
Yeah.
They've already announced our
rotation. Scherzer Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah, that might be nasty.
Odorizzi sucks, Bill.
Yeah, Odorizzi is slightly a bum, but hey, he's our 5th starter, so it's okay.
People don't miss the pitches that he throws. He can't get swinging strikes.
He can't. His stuff is not good.
He's a ground ball. He's a ground ball.
Oh, absolutely.
Had success with that in the past, I mean,
Mike Soroka.
Yeah.
Mike Soroka's not a strikeout pitcher, but Mike Soroka is one of the best sinkers in baseball.
Yeah, all those cats.
Whenever he's healthy. But it's going to be a tough week.
And then we played the Astros for 3 right after that
next Sunday's show might be an interesting one if things go south this week.
Wednesday's
me
show
and Clay.
might be an interesting one. Because Wednesday's show will be Odorizzi versus Scherzer while we're recording. So that's going to be
going to be a guaranteed loss. So we might as well go ahead and be prepared for that. We got to win Monday and Tuesday.
That's why we need to be 2-0.
As long as we split, I'm okay, man.
No, let's go ahead and hit up the NFL preseason.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit.
Oh, hey, before we do that, I do need to shout out and make sure everybody understands that the Astros sit alone top of the American League now
by a couple games, huh?
I think like 2.5.
Yeah.
That everybody here is not Atlanta fans. Yeah. They are some other fans.
Well, do you really want to talk about your Red Sox who are 56 and 59 right now, Josh?
No.
Okay, I thought we were doing you a favor, buddy.
I'm on that Astros bandwagon.
Where's the trash can?
Jump on. It's over there behind.
And the Dodgers just lost a game to the Royals after winning 12 straight.
I was going to say, they were on a 12-game winning streak.
Yeah, they're going to win like 120 games, and no one's even talking about it.
What are they at right now, 79?
Look at their run differential, man. Them and the Yankees is stupid. Plus 247, the Yankees plus 204.
Yankees are like 8-14 since All-Star break.
8-14 since
8-14
or something in 14 or something since trading Joey Gallo as well.
Yeah, Gallo went to L.A. and just kept winning.
Yeah, that's the best thing we can talk about right there.
Yeah,
Yankees downfall.
Hey, I called it. I called it at the All-Star break. I said they weren't going to make it to the ALCS.
And the Dodgers are so good.
That pitcher they got rid of is like doing awesome now. Montgomery. Did y'all see his first start?
It was against the Yankees.
His first two
yeah,
were
against the
scoreless.
Yankees. That was great.
Mm-hmm.
Freddie's hitting 320. You gotta love that. I
didn't know till like yesterday that Stanton is hurt. I didn't know that. He's been in on the IL. I think he's about to start rehab this upcoming week. So that'll help him a little bit.
Have y'all heard about the Dairy Queen curse? No. So listen to this. Dairy Queen had 4 baseball players as like their faces of the Blizzards or something stupid like that. Okay? The 4 players.
Shout out DQ.
Here you go. 4 players. Bryce Harper, who broke his thumb, has been out since June 26th. Tim Anderson, who broke his finger, is probably out for the year. Cody Bellinger, who's hitting 210 with a 668 OPS.
He didn't know he signed that deal.
Yeah, he was so high. And then Fernando Tatis, who has now been suspended for PEDs. Dang. So shout out to Dairy Queen for
stay away from Houston and Atlanta.
Yeah.
So does that mean that something worse could happen to Cody Bellinger?
I hope
he's
so.
only batting bad, so maybe
he's going to bat horrible until he plays either the Braves or the Astros.
We need an ACL or a rotator cuff.
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
Gosh. Failed drug test.
Did I say that out loud? Or I thought I was on mute.
Oh, and Josh, do you kind of now hindsight being 2020, do you think do you wish the Red Sox would have done something differently at the deadline now, given how drastically they've fallen off?
I mean, probably because they're probably not going to keep J.D. Martinez anyway.
Yeah.
You might as well have got what you could for him, some draft picks.
Hey, Tommy Pham's doing good, though.
Now, he's doing good, but they probably won't keep him either.
Yeah.
That was just a one-year deal probably. I wish they would have got some pitching.
Yeah.
Give up some people, get some young pitching.
Dude, I didn't know they were in 5th place in the East.
Oh, we're done.
Dude, I did not know that.
What's the game like right now?
Well, the Orioles is playing good.
Hey, Red
And
Sox
they
are up.
didn't want
Red
to
Sox
go
are up
for it.
1-0 in the
So
6th
weird.
on the Yankees. There we go.
Go Red Sox.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Heck yeah, we're Red Sox pod for
Oh,
the rest
throwing a
of
2-hitter.
I do.
Michael
If we can't
Wacha.
do anything, let's just knock the New York Yankees
Michael
down.
Wacha's on the Red Sox. I didn't know that.
So Walker's actually like 6-1 this year.
Wow.
I mean, he's like been their best pitcher.
Walker
Yeah.
ain't never been bad to me.
Red Sox faced him in 2013. When
Should be 17.
did they play the Cardinals?
Should be 17.
18, you mean?
Whatever.
It was
yeah.
18 and 13.
Yeah.
Which year did they play the Cardinals?
Michael Walker's not that old.
He was a rookie that year when he was on the Cardinals.
I'll look it up.
Who did they play in 18 for the championship? It wouldn't have been the Cardinals, I don't
It wasn't
think.
the Cardinals.
It was the Dodgers.
Yeah.
So it was 13. It was 13. But Michael Wacha was a rookie on that Cardinals team, I'm pretty sure. I think he might have won like the only game that the Cardinals won in that World Series. I might be wrong.
Well, they need to re-sign him.
Yeah, man, he was a solid pitcher for the Cardinals back then. But yeah, go Red Sox for sure. No one wants the Yankees to succeed on this podcast.
Absolutely not. So yeah, let's I think we can
jump
move
over to
on now.
preseason. Yeah, we need to get on with it so we can be on time for our interview. So Saints, Red Rocket, he had a good, one series outing. He looked good. His
5 for
arm
5,
strength-
wasn't it?
Yeah, and his arm strength looks great. I mean, he didn't throw any deep balls.
And
His
I
throws
wanted
were on
to see
time.
him more, but I mean, it was like after that first series,
And then it was
sit him down.
Ian Book travesty after that. Which it's preseason, it's cool. Given that he's Dalton's going to be the backup, I really did want to see him take another series or two.
Yeah, for a veteran,
he's
a veteran
proven,
that's
man.
established, there's no use in
Yeah,
bringing
we
him
know
back.
he's the
Pro
two.
Bowler. I didn't realize that until I saw the guy.
I mean, he was good.
He did not
Cincy.
have a bad career in Cincinnati at all.
Oh, just to confirm, Michael Wacha, Game 2 winner, World Series against the Red Sox. Yeah, nailed that.
And Traquan showed out, had a few good catches.
And he also dropped one in the dropped the big one.
Shout out
I
Traquan.
watched like 2 plays, so how'd we look?
I listened to it.
Chase
on the radio,
Hansen played
then
really
then I
well.
watched it later.
Oh yeah, Chase Hansen. Boy, that first play,
dude, he went through that hole so quick.
He's
man.
a white linebacker, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
They blitzed him through the A gap, and dude.
And then did he have the intercept?
Quick, yeah.
He's the one that got the interception.
And a pass deflection too. I want to say.
Yeah, he did a good day.
And
might have made the roster last night.
And Demario Davis didn't play, which we didn't think he would.
No,
didn't see much out of Olave.
Yeah, 1 catch for 4 yards, I think.
Yeah, it was a little like out route too. I think.
Yeah, nothing special.
Did he play a lot?
I don't think
probably not. But something also to remember is they're going to keep it really vanilla in preseason because they don't really want to show a lot of their stuff yet. And it's also week 1 of the preseason, so that
crap. I forgot to look at my notes while I go for MLB. Pujols hit 2 homers today. Did y'all see that?
Jesus.
He's at 689.
Yeah.
So he's 11 away from 700. He's got to go one more.
He can't, man.
I need 700.
And he'll be the only person to like legitimately get 700 since Hank and
yeah,
Babe.
he can do it. Can he do 11 in like 40 games?
Hang on,
no.
I may have his name in a list I've got here.
The Bilko report.
More on that later.
Fernando is now a part of the report.
Some other preseason though, Trey Lance went like 5 for 5 and killed it. I heard. I think he had like 90 yards and a touchdown.
Trey Lance could be a guy.
There's just so much unknown.
I think
but he was playing against 4-string guys, probably.
Yeah, but still, you want the guys to go
that's
out there.
What, that's what he's supposed to do, though.
Yeah.
So I get
Deshaun
that.
Watson went 1 for 7 with 5 yards, so that wasn't great.
It's
special.
They have it's like the National Massage Therapist Week or something like that in Cleveland.
It was,
so
yes.
He's a little distracted, I'm sure.
Yeah.
He probably didn't have enough fluid in his body.
Hey, did he have to
Had
wear
weak
one
knees.
Of those, did he have to wear one of those bracelets on his ankle?
Oh my God!
This isn't longest yard. No.
Hey, White Mike kicked with one of those on his ankle in high school with me. So
wait,
it's possible.
seriously?
Yeah.
Give me a Bible. I'll put my right hand on it.
It's in that book right there.
Yeah. White Mike. Yeah, he did a little time in the summer.
The MILF hunter.
Wow.
Zach Wilson.
Wilson.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
He probably is too.
He's married, but Zach Wilson goes out on a non-contact injury.
Zach Watson's gonna be released by the end of the year.
Thought it could have been an
No offense to
ACL,
him,
but turns out it's just a meniscus. Hopefully, it can be trimmed. It's not fully torn.
Yeah, I think they're hoping for 2 to 4 weeks, but it might be worse than that. They're saying.
I don't know why, but I just want the Jets to be relevant.
Yeah.
For football,
I want to root
just
for Wilson.
He was on track to be pretty good this year.
And the colors are they're fun to watch. I like the green and black.
I like the crazy firemen screaming Jet. I mean, I probably would
JETS.
There you go. Yeah,
it's not an NFL draft without that.
Exactly. And
I have $15 invested in
when I
fantasy
watched his
football
pro
already.
day, did y'all see his pro day? So he had one of the. I know everybody gets tired.
How many moms were there?
Enough, but
he really showed out.
He made a huge throw on pro day, and I was like, "This kid from
was
BYU
he
is
rolling
actually
to his left
and threw to his right?"
Yes,
on a
I remember that.
He was the quarterback I had the most faith in.
Out of that draft.
Yeah, I liked him more than Lawrence.
Wow.
Clay does not like touchdown
so,
at all.
Hey,
so
has he proved me anything?
You must have been on Lawrence after he had a bad. What was that?
I just never was like as all in on the hype train for him and
that ball.
His freshman year was nasty.
Oh yeah, it was. So was Tua's. But him and Tua, I just never was all in on like everyone else in the world seemed to be.
And speaking of that draft, I was also hoping to see more out of Davis Mills.
What did he do?
No,
did
he
That's a good sign if you don't play any, though.
Yeah, they're excited about him in Houston.
Yeah.
Stanford guy, big brain guy.
Some other
distracted by the
other injury news. The Browns starting center Nick Harris, he went down with an injury on like the second play of the game, done for the year.
Wow.
And they brought him in. They drafted him either last year or year before to replace J.C. Treader. J.C. Treader's gone. Nick Harris stepped in, got hurt 2 plays into preseason. So don't know what they're going to do at center, but doesn't look good. Maybe they can reunite with Treader because he's still out there on free agency. So
who else are we watching? Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts looked really
good.
Outing
looked
really good.
I think he's having a big year.
I do too.
Real big year.
I want to think that up here.
I liked Jalen Hurts when he was at Bama. I felt bad for him.
I will go back to that second episode of this podcast when y'all laughed at me.
We did.
Now, I said I liked him at Bama. I didn't say I thought he was, top 5?
I mean, I said he was better than Mac Jones. It's not a very high bar he's going to have to clear. Yeah. So,
well, we get the return of the Mac this year. Allegedly, he's having some issues, but I think he'll be fine.
Yeah.
Did y'all see
quarterback's gonna be all right.
Jalen Hurts about to die the other day?
Yeah,
on the sideline. That was horrible, man. I don't know how there was not a brawl for that.
What happened? I didn't see it.
He when playing the Jets, he scrambled out wide, and he was already in the thick white.
Pretty much.
Yeah, he was in the thick white of the out-of-bounds line, and some Jets dude freaking dolphin dove right into him.
Yeah, but he took a good approach in the postgame. They were trying to get a quote out of him about it, and he just said, play happened. They threw a flag. I'm moving on.
I mean, you don't do that, but especially a preseason game.
It's horrible,
that's
man.
Just stupid.
And apparently the Cowboys are I think I saw people saying they look extremely undisciplined, and that they'll probably lead the NFL in penalties. Yeah, they had 17 for 129 in their preseason game.
Saints and the Raiders are happy about that.
Yeah.
Because typically one of us leads.
Well, you know we will.
A little bit more football news. Lamar, his contract talks are happening.
He said he's going to play.
He said, I'm not what?
Didn't he say he was going to play?
Yeah, he's going to play. He said, I'm ending the contract talks before the season starts.
Yeah.
So if Baltimore wants to give that money, they better do it.
Is he going to his final year?
Yeah, this is his 5th year.
Speaking of his
Ravens,
his backup's got to be one of the best in football.
Huntley.
Yeah.
I like Huntley.
Well, there were people last year that said he was just as good as Lamar, and I think he went 0-6. So, yeah, Lamar wins games.
So, guys, did any of y'all get to watch any of the Saints game yesterday?
I watched that first drive. Yeah,
I watched one play, but Dish Network had audio problems.
And I've never been a big preseason guy, but man. It feels so good to see football.
I texted that to everybody last night. I was like, man, I didn't realize how much I missed it until I saw it on my screen.
And
it felt weird, man. I was twitching a little bit.
All the OTA, spring training, draft, all that's great. But, man, when they line it up, even in a preseason game, I was pretty pumped. It was good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I'm excited for football for sure. And we're getting we have a fantasy draft next weekend.
I have one Saturday.
Ooh. We're gonna film ours.
Yeah, we have ours
5 leagues this year.
Our other league.
We're gonna let y'all in on the Dirty Boots.
I got
Sports,
Saturday, Sunday, then
or the Dirty Boot Boys Snake League.
Yeah.
That league's been going strong since about 2008. The app says 2010, but we were there before that app.
How long's ours been going, Bill? 2009 or 10?
2008. 2008.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
joined 2011. I know at the age of 11.
Yeah. Clay didn't have a cell phone.
Just a chap.
Yeah. Joining the league with 40-year-olds.
Yeah.
I was in it. I was like 16.
That's where the monster was created. Huh?
Heck yeah.
So we're gonna wrap up NFL news, and we're gonna move on to our interview.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. This guy we're about to have on is probably my favorite Twitter follow I've ever made. Probably.
Yeah, he's one of them. Definitely.
His Twitter handle is Freezing Cold Takes. And before we get into it with him, I want to give like a little, I guess, synopsis of what he does real quick.
Yeah.
The guy.
Big word.
You like that? I'm an educator. Okay.
It's 3 syllables, dude.
Synopsis.
Yeah, spell it, Bill.
Let's have a spelling.
He basically exposes like celebrities or big time people who make these outrageous takes and predictions, and basically whenever that happens and it gets proven wrong, he like retweets it and it just exposes them.
Yeah,
and it's so much fun to watch, and it's so entertaining. So I'm excited for this. I don't know about everybody else, but I've been looking forward to this.
It's honestly surreal.
Told us,
yeah, because I emailed him about the opportunity. I think within 10 minutes of his post going up saying that he would do podcast interviews, and we scheduled this date. And in the past week or so, he's been on Good Morning Football on NFL Network. He's been on the Dan Patrick Show. you know, and now he's going to be on
add
Dirty Boot
Dirty Boot
Sports.
to the list.
You can argue which one's the best.
Not gonna lie,
Pretty
I'm a
good
little
list
nervous.
to be with.
Yeah.
I'm a little nervous right now.
Oh,
I'm not gonna
definitely.
lie.
He's our biggest guest so far.
He.
How many Twitter followers does he have?
Almost 600,000.
Yeah.
He's verified. The big name people even tweet at him whenever they screw up themselves. Like, yep.
Oh, and he interacts with Barstool all the time.
Yeah, it's so. Oh man, it's gonna be awesome.
Definitely. And we have another big one coming up Wednesday.
Let's not announce that yet, though.
So look out for that. But
might be
we'll get
high
into
school
our
commitment.
Let's get into our interview
then.
then.
In a row already.
Moving on up, guys.
What is up, guys? Dirty Boot Sports, and we are here with our fourth interview. And this one, you know, it's a little bit out of our realm. We've been doing our local guys, and now we're going all the way to Florida, I believe, with Mr. Fred Segal, the writer of Freezing Cold Takes, NFL, new book. Go check it out for sure. So let's get into this. So how about you introduce yourself to us real quick?
All right, I'm Fred Segal. I wrote I run the Freezing Cold Takes Twitter feed and Instagram feed, Adult Takes Exposed on Twitter. I've been doing it for like 5 years. You know, I wrote the book, Freezing Cold Takes NFL. It just came out on Tuesday. Football media's most inaccurate predictions and fascinating stories behind them. It's just a historical look on a lot of the old, infamous, inaccurate commentary that was made by sports media, NFL media, and really kind of just takes a look back at teams and players who in NFL history and some of the stories behind them, not just an extension of my feed where I just list cold takes. You know, I grew up in Florida. My whole life lived in Florida. I went from Miami, Florida. I live in West Palm Beach, Florida now. I went to University of Florida, graduated in 99. So, I mean, I graduated in 2003, started in 99. So, yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty much me.
Yeah, as we're in our LSU room right now. So,
yeah, I went on with the guys from Baton Rouge in the morning show, Abear and Hester. They made fun of me. Yeah, a little bit about like, you know, LSU's won 9 out of the last 12. Rightfully so. I mean, we haven't been very good. So,
so how did you get into, I guess, making the account and everything? Like, what was your inspiration or that time where it just, you're like, I'm gonna do this?
Well, it was I just wanted to do something that was a counter to sports media who were, I mean, I'd been on Twitter, they'd reposting their accurate predictions and with self-congratulatory messages. And I just said to myself, someone should be the person who posts tweets and quotes where some of those media people turn out to be wrong. And I just became that person. I didn't expect the feed to become big, but it became big pretty quick. So I started running with it.
Almost 600,000 followers on Twitter. That's insane.
Yeah, it's big. I mean, every year it gets bigger, and it's been fun, very fun.
And it's got to be something that's pretty easy to do now with social media. And I say easy to do, not saying it's an easy job, but with so many athletes and news people on social media, man, they're just throwing that stuff out there left and right. So you got to be just raking it in.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I get so many suggestions. I mean, the harder part, the big difficulty is just choosing what to post. You know, standards have been raised since I started the feed. I mean, it's got to be something pretty big, and it can't just be like something about, you know, I see like a Louisiana Tech thing in your background. Like it can't be like a Louisiana Tech basketball game or you know, something college baseball regular season. You know, it's got to be something bigger than that.
Yeah, for sure.
So now with NFL preseason,
I get a lot of those. People tag me to a Louisiana Tech baseball game, or you know, forgot the team, whatever the team Florida played in 2013 tournament. I forgot. I mean, it was a Louisiana team. Northwestern State.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that it? Yeah. The team that beat Iowa in 2006.
Yeah.
So with NFL preseason finally kicking off, I guess you're licking your chops now, getting ready to see all these huge predictions for some of these new young players.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, preseason's great. I have a chapter in my book about like what I call preseason performance traps, and it gets bigger and bigger every year. But like when you watch a player play in preseason and you have this fallacious belief that like their great preseason performance in like one game or one quarter is indicative of the future success. Now it's like almost, especially the first week of preseason where people are just so psyched for NFL to be back on, that they just automatically just validates everything that they thought about a player, like for one game. Like you see it with Cody Pickett. Cody Pickett today was it today or yesterday? It was today, I think. Mm-hmm. Prime example of that. Like Cody Pickett threw a touchdown to win the game, and then now he's it's validated to some people that it was a great pick. Now I'm not saying Cody Pickett won't be great, but I refuse to validate that based on this one preseason game. And I have a chapter on that. Like Ryan Mallett had a great preseason game, his first game against Jacksonville. He was a Patriots backup. Yeah. He was drafted in the 3rd round. Then there are guys who are like overdrafted. People think that they're drafted too high, and they get a lot of criticism for it. There was a lot of criticism, and then like people say, "You see, that's why he was drafted that high." Great game. EJ Manuel was like that. EJ Manuel was a perfect guy like that. He was drafted in the 1st round, 15th pick or whatever. And everyone thought it was too high. He was a borderline 1st rounder going in, and then he had a great first preseason game, and it was like, oh, see, franchise quarterback right there. So I have a whole chapter on that. The Browns have a lot of those guys. Oh, Jake Delhomme, great Louisiana guy, Jake Delhomme. Jake Delhomme, he would play at Lafayette when it was called Southwest Louisiana. They played against UF in '96. Brandon Stokely was on the team. His dad was the coach, right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So Delhomme had like a great preseason for the Browns. Brandon Whedon and Colt McCoy. Yeah. All those guys. Whenever a Browns guy has good preseason, it's like everyone's so excited because they think like this is it. We got it finally. Finally a guy could help.
Johnny Manziel was the savior.
He didn't necessarily have the best preseason. Maybe like, so it wasn't like that type of thing. But yeah, I mean, when he was drafted, it was like, it was amazing. Like I posted videos of the fans in various different draft parties.
And did you in your book? Did you mention another Browns quarterback?
DeShone Kizer.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Okay. Yeah.
Because he went like 5-0 in the preseason or 4-0 in the preseason. So.
It was and they played it because I was on the show on a Zoom. I did the Zoom for NFL Network. Good Morning Football.
Yeah.
On Wednesday, and they played the clip because I talk about Nate Burleson, who used to be the host of Good Morning Football, but he moved to like Good Morning Show of CBS. But when at the time he was Good Morning Football, and he was just in love with Kizer. I mean, in love with him. So they played all those clips when I went on the show on Wednesday.
Well, a couple of chapters. I don't mean to hijack the whole interview.
Oh yeah, go for it.
A couple of chapters that really were really interesting to me. The one on Steve Young, because I'm a little older than these guys, so I'm back. I was in college in the late '80s, so the whole Steve Young, Joe Montana thing, and then also the one on the chapter on Tony Mandarich, which I remember that so vividly because that was I think he's like a year older than me, so I was right in that line of when all the big steroid talk was going on with college football. And that one I thought that one was super cool because of the whole thing.
The Mandarich one. Yeah, I mean, it was crazy to see, like, when you research stuff, I knew I was going to find a ton of stuff on Mandarich because he was just like, everyone thought he was amazing, but it was like the enabling that went on. It wasn't just the enabling, it was just like, at the end of the day, when he admitted he was on steroids and when he had a terrible career, at least for the Packers. He came back with the Colts and had a couple of good years to like kind of salvage it a little bit. But it was like the narrative was like, I can't believe that he hoodwinked them, like I can't believe they fell for that he didn't use steroids or whatever, like the Packers. And if you go back and look at it, they knew. They just didn't care.
Oh yeah, and
yeah, they just didn't give one shit. Like they didn't care, and then they barely did any research on it. They didn't want to find out, and then they just drafted him. And he had a lot of issues anyway. He was doing drugs and drinking, so that was also part of his downfall too.
And we should have known from the very beginning, because you know who recruited Tony Mandridge to Michigan State? Nick
Saban.
So yeah, we should have known something was up right away.
Yeah, absolutely.
And even through the combine, Tony Mandridge, I remember, everybody just thought he was going to be the god in the big Sports Illustrated cover, and apparently, his pro day and combine and everything, he did great, because they said he had gotten a 9.0 rating, which I don't know if the NFL scouts rate, and a 9.0 is, I guess, supposed to be as good as you can get, and said he was the only 9.0 that had ever been rated since. Want to guess who?
O.J. Simpson.
O.J. Simpson.
O.J. Simpson. Right.
That was right out of your book.
Well, I mean, yeah, at the combine he was doing running back stats, like running back like times and type thing, and he was like a 6'6" offensive lineman. And I talked to the guy who wrote the article for Sports Illustrated. He said he knew, and he was trying to like insinuate it in the article. The one that had he had the Incredible Bulk cover, which is a very infamous cover.
Right.
And then 3 years later, there was the Incredible Bust.
Yeah, that's the one where he's taking the knee on the sideline.
Yeah.
Looks pretty spent.
Well, one other thing I want to ask. So on your Twitter and everything, who would you say gives you the most content that you get to retweet or put out besides Skip Bayless? Because we all know he's number one. But who else is in that top echelon,
Cowherd, probably Cowherd, Nick Wright. But a lot of those guys get they have a huge social media team, and very active one, and posts all their stuff like as they say it, because they want to get attention.
Yeah.
So, but given that, like, it's easy to find, because you could just find them on Twitter. Like, if someone to find your guys' stuff, like everything you say on this show, they'd have to listen to the show and like find the clips. But for Cowherd and those guys, it's right there for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's easier to find. So that's why it's easy to get those guys a lot, and it makes it easy for us to be tired of them. But
I'm a big Warriors fan, and I remember in this past postseason, Nick Wright went on and said Mavericks are going to win in 5, and the Warriors ended up winning that in 5. So that I was excited to see you bring that up.
He's always an anti-Warriors guy. I mean, he was rambling on when I think Kevin Durant's first year there, 2017 season. He was talking about how the Warriors were significantly better without him. The whole season he was doing that, and I put together like this whole clip of it, and posted it like the minute they won the championship that year.
So who are some of your favorite sports teams that you root for? You're a Florida guy. Who are some of your sports?
University of Florida football, basketball. University of Florida's always is my favorite. Like, and then with college, anything them, and then sports, all Miami teams: Heat, Dolphins, Marlins, and the hockey team. I don't really watch them. I don't think anybody there's a very small contingent of people care about that. So it's all Miami teams.
Is this Tua's year?
And the Gators. What?
Is this Tua's year? Is he going to take that step?
Precedent will tell you no. I mean, he plays for the Dolphins. I mean, if you want to go by like what happens to players on the Dolphins throughout the past 20 years, then you'd say no. I mean, the Dolphins is a black hole of a franchise. Players come into Miami and they're worse than when they came. They're worse off when they leave. It's just a known thing. Anybody who signs with us, for the past 20 years, it's one of the worst franchises in sports. Now we have a new coach, and we played this game before, where the new coach, everyone's talking about how he's awesome, but that's not how it works. But they never are great. We did that with Gase, the guy, the most recent guy. I already forgot his name. The guy who's suing us or whatever. Flores. They all talk a big game. And then the worst one was the guy Gase, and the worst one was the guy before that, Philbin.
Oh yeah, Hard Knocks Philbin.
Joe. Oh yeah. So
Philbin on Hard Knocks. Yeah. The Dolphins are. No, probably not. But I'd be happy if I was wrong.
Not exactly a sports take as far as from another sportscaster or media person, but what did you think about? And I'm going back to 2005 when when Drew Brees went to have a medical evaluation by the Dolphins staff.
Yeah, Saban likes to push that blame on someone else, but But I think, we got Culpepper, who was probably worse off health-wise than Breeze was, and he stunk. He literally was just terrible. That didn't work out for us at all. But if Drew Brees came to Miami, like I said, for the past 20 years, he probably would have been ended up like freaking all the rest of the guys we've had,
right?
And probably wouldn't be as good. And he probably wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, shut up, Nick.
So Breeze is really the lucky one.
Yeah.
If we would have got Breeze, what would people like to say if we would have got Breeze that 1 year, Dolphins would have been great, and then Saban would never went to Alabama, and everything in college football would be different.
So. No, Sean Payton is the other half of that equation.
Yeah.
Without Sean Payton, I do reason.
So. Us Saints fans love that.
I don't think Saban was that bad of a coach in the NFL. I think he could have been good, but he just didn't want to be there anymore. He wanted to be like the guy, the SAR guy who has control over everything, which was a smart play for him.
Control freak.
Yeah.
We all got any questions over there?
Yeah, I got one. All right, it's kind of vague, but like, how do you do this? Do people just tag you and stuff or send it to you? Like, how do you come up and like find these retweets from like 2016 whenever Colin Cowherd said something about somebody, That's the most impressive thing to me.
Well, now people tag me a lot, send them to me. A lot more than they used to. It's very repetitive though. I get sent the same stuff over and over and over again. But when I first started out, I have a lawyer's background. I was a lawyer for 8 years, and we used to just research case law and write briefs and all that. And you have a platform. It's called Westlaw and LexisNexis, and it finds all these legal cases from whenever. And you have to use search terms and dates and stuff like that. But I found out the Twitter search terms aren't really that much different. So I was able to just use those. So let's say like a coach was fired. Let's just say a coach was fired. Like take like Coach O that's not a good example because he won a title. So that was a good hire.
Yeah.
Okay. How about this? Let's say when Coach O won the national championship, 2019, you go back to the day Coach O was appointed head coach. So you can just type in like Coach O or Orgeron and the date he was hired as the head coach. And then there's just a million people ripping it.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't really popular.
Oh, no, not at all. Even around here, it wasn't. No.
Yeah. So that type of stuff. Like you can do that. And you just, so let's say you talk about like a team who in college football who started off 1-2 and then won all the rest of their games and then won the Rose Bowl or something. you go to the date that they lost their second game, and you have everybody just trashing them, saying the season's over. And it's easy to find a date of any of that stuff. Just type in Google or look at their schedule.
Okay, man. That's the biggest problem.
All stuff like that, like just that type of thing. But sometimes it's fun to do stuff during a game. So let's say
probably 28-3 Falcons.
Oh yeah, well that's easy. That's like the prime example. Yeah. But even more like national championship game. What was the game where Clemson beat Alabama? No. Yeah, where Clemson beat Alabama.
Drive, Renfro with the pylon.
Yeah, Renfro. Right. Renfro with the throw. That game, I think Bama started off with a couple touchdowns, maybe.
Yeah,
they were winning early,
and they scored late to get up.
Yeah. So that game would be a game like where I'd start bookmarking right when they get up by 2 touchdowns, because first of all, everyone thought Alabama was unbeatable. So like, oh, that was the year that everyone was talking about whether they could beat the Browns. Yeah. So that is an easy way to do it. Also, that's what I do. Another one, 21-3. They were up 21-6, I think, against Ohio State in the playoff semifinal in 2014 season. Cardell Jones and Ezekiel Elliott ran all over in the second half. Yeah, that type of thing. Because then, especially when Urban Meyer's playing, because you automatically, if anyone takes a lead on Urban Meyer, you'll get a million jokes about the pizza, or like he wants to go spend time with his family, stuff like that.
Y'all got any other questions? Josh?
In your book, you talk a lot about the Patriots. So is that just for content, or are you a secret Pats fan?
Patriots is great. Patriots was great content for a long time, especially like the Renaissance, like the Tom Brady, like his last 4 or 5 years. But I didn't include that in the book because I could write a whole book on the Patriots, but I wanted to spread it around, and I had a word requirement. So I just I kept it to the Belichick hire and then the first 5 years of the Patriots. Yeah, I mean, they're great. Especially like 2016 to like 2019. Like, I mean, by 2015, everyone was saying that Brady was done.
Nice killer.
2014, they were like 1-2 after they lost a game in Monday Night Football to the Chiefs. They got killed. Brady was terrible. And at the end of the game, Trent Dilfer was on the field, and the Monday Night Football team was like, it's a weak team, New England Patriots. They're not good anymore. And everybody was counting Brady out at that time. That was the on to Cincinnati game. Like the next day was the press conference. Yeah. And they were amazing the rest of the season. They won the Super Bowl.
Well, in the first chapter of your book is about the Belichick hire. Do you consider that to be the most freezing cold take of all time? Those that said Belichick was a bad hire?
Yeah, and everybody thought it. It was just like an open season on him. He had just left the Jets after one day as their head coach. Yeah. He was installed as head coach. He was already a defensive coordinator. Parcells left or stepped down, and he was installed as the head coach per his contract, and then he just left. And then he wanted to go to New England for like 3 weeks, and he had to extricate himself from the contract. New England eventually had to give up a first-round pick. And then the Patriots media gave him a ton of shit for giving up a first-round pick for this guy, Belichick, who had like 5 seasons with the Browns previously and made the playoffs once and a losing overall record.
Yeah. Well, I think the best cold take you've ever put out is the one about the internet. I think some guy called it a fad and that it wasn't going to last. That guy needs
one guy. I had a really good one. I didn't include it because it didn't want to fit in the book. But one guy talking about how they'll scrap it after like a week. He didn't like it with the experimental yellow line on the first downs. Just like the greatest invention in football TV history.
Yeah, without a doubt.
He thought it was a nuisance. He said they're going to scrap it. The first time it was ever used was like a Sunday night football game on ESPN in like 98 or 97, something like that.
That's hilarious.
I didn't know that.
Well, we don't want to keep you too long, so let's get into your Dirty Five, which is NFL disappointments. So some guys that I guess you were watching in college, and you're like, this guy's going to be an absolute star in the NFL, but he didn't really pan out as much as that. So who are you going to start it off with?
Oh, I'll start off with going back to 90, like the Gators had a wide receiver, Reed Anthony.
Okay.
Who was on the 96 team that won the national championship. We had Ike Hillier, Jacquez Green, and Reed Anthony. And Reed Anthony turned out to be the worst of the lot. In the NFL, he was a first-round pick. But he wasn't good in the NFL. I couldn't understand why. He was a prototypical great NFL receiver. So that's one. I got
that's a pick, I'd say, for sure.
Here's one that's really baffled me. Remember Andre Woodson from Kentucky? He beat LSU in 2007, the year LSU won the title.
Yeah.
They lost 2 games that year. One was to Kentucky. I think it was at Kentucky. And Woodson was the quarterback. He was like this guy, he was pegged on like Mel Kiper's big board as number 1 after that game. I don't even think he played it down in the NFL. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, I think that game was on your birthday, Chance.
It was.
Yeah.
And it was sad day.
Yeah. That was one of the games else. And then there was what was the guy's name? Okay. Trent Richardson.
Yeah, definitely.
He's on my list.
Trent Richardson.
3rd overall pick.
Oh my God. Everybody thought he was going to be amazing. Everybody.
Well, and he was bad his rookie year, and then he still got traded for a 1st-round pick. That's how crazy is.
He scored a bunch of touchdowns, but that was it.
Yeah.
And then he was running like 3 yards per carry.
He had a pretty good rookie year.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. Trent Richardson's one of them. Oh, Rolando McClain, another Alabama.
Oh
my gosh.
He was a beast.
Yeah.
An absolute beast.
Yeah.
What
happens?
And the ultimate, and then the kicker for Florida State, Aguayo.
Oh yeah, 2nd-round pick, right?
Yeah.
That was stupid. But yeah.
Yeah, that's a great pick right there.
He couldn't miss, and I hated him. He was on Florida State. He couldn't miss.
Yeah, that's a definitely good pick because that's really unprecedented, that Aguayo pick.
Besides Seabass.
Yeah, Seabass, first rounder.
Nugent was a 2rd-round pick, and he didn't live up to the billing too. But he at least had a better career than
he at least stuck around for a while. Aguayo was at the league in like 2 years.
Didn't he go to Tampa?
Todd Sauerbrunn was a punter for West Virginia. He got picked 2nd round, I think.
So you got anything else?
I do. So I'm kind of previewing my list a little bit, but one guy that's towards the top of my list is Danny Warfel. You being such a big Florida Gators fan, you were there at that time in college.
We didn't think he was going to be good in the NFL. He didn't have a good arm.
I got you. At the time, I was a kid, and I was a big Danny Warfel fan, and I remember actually being at a Johnny's Pizza and my dad telling me, "Hey, this Peyton Manning guy's pretty good. He might be better than Danny Warfel." Ain't no way.
No way. Freezing cold take.
But of course, when he came to
You
the
always
Saints,
prayed. You always prayed to the heavens after each touchdown.
and when he came to the Saints, of course, I'm a Saints homer. It was just I was all in on
And I
that
think they
thing.
got him with like the 199th pick.
Yeah.
And he had won the Heisman Trophy
Hey, that's
too.
the Brady pick. It mattered to me. I was all about it. So.
He's in the book in my draft chapter. There's a cold take on him.
So what about Tim Tebow? You never thought he'd be anything?
No. He never he wasn't a pocket passer.
Yeah.
And he threw weird.
They really did.
I don't even think Tim Tebow would be as good now as he was then. He was like the first of his kind, one of the first of his kind. Like nobody had a running guy who ran like that size. But I think teams adapt to it by now. So
He got LSU, remember?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, well, 2006. Yeah. And
Jump
then
pass.
the jump pass, and then the fake, and then throw to Lewis Murphy. I was on this show with Hester. He got that touchdown overturn.
Yeah.
Supposed to be in the next play, Jamarcus fumbled it, and we got the ball. It was at the 1 yard line. I told him that was a great overturn. Great overturn.
Well, it's been a great interview. Honestly, I've learned a lot, and we were really curious about all the behind the scenes of everything. And yeah, if y'all haven't checked out the book yet, go for it. It's on Amazon, I know, right?
Yeah, everywhere. Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Borders, probably at some bookstores. I saw it. My friend said he saw it in Maryland at his bookstore. So, but you can order it on Amazon right now. Freezing Cold Takes NFL.
Yeah. So we appreciate it. Thank you for taking your time out of your night and coming on this little podcast.
No problem. Yeah. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
All right, so heck of an interview. Shout out Fred Segal for coming on our tiny little podcast. Not big time in us, just talking sports. That was a lot of fun. Definitely the biggest guy we've had on so far.
Very down to earth too.
Yeah, down to earth. I was excited about that University of Florida connection because I was actually a big Gators fan when I was a kid.
Boo.
And I was, man, and it's going to show on my list a little bit. So who wants to? Does anybody want to kick it off? Y'all want?
You can go ahead and start.
Yeah,
since you
cool.
got.
So this is the Dirty 5 NFL disappointments. My list is just going to be guys who personally I thought, were good. Not necessarily everybody else. It was just like guys I was a fan of in college. It's going to be, for me, it's quarterback heavy.
Is it millennial heavy?
Man, it's they're not new.
All right,
they're not new.
They're not new. So number 5 is going to be David Carr, big time quarterback in college at Fresno State.
How big time can you be from Fresno State?
He was on the cover of NCAA football.
Yeah,
No, he was big time. He's in my honorable mention.
Yeah, and he went to the Houston Texans and set the record for most sacks ever his rookie year.
They were an expansion team at that time, though. So.
And he paid the price for that.
He does have a record.
He does have a record. Thank God he's got a brother who can ball. But I really thought he was going to be better. He probably could have been decent had he went.
He's a solid TV
somewhere
analyst
else.
at least.
Yeah, he's solid. He's he's got a face for TV. So thank his mom and dad for that. But the Texans definitely didn't do him any favors. Number 4 is a SEC quarterback who he's the only Browns jersey I ever had in my life, and I didn't wear it very often. But that's Tim
Johnny
Couch.
Manziel.
No, Tim Couch. Tim Couch, Kentucky quarterback, famously didn't have a lot of hair in college. Looked like an old man on the sideline. But he was supposed to be the next big thing. He was the
like
number 1 overall draft
he was
pick.
like the start of the. This is it for the Browns. Like, it's about to happen.
Yeah,
he was like the leader of that renaissance.
He was the dumpster fire.
Yeah. He was the first name on the jersey.
Yeah, went on for about 20 years.
Yeah, Tim Couch was a big one. Number 3, and I think a lot of people were probably on this guy's train too, but Matt Leinart.
Yeah.
He's on
huge.
Watching him at USC, he just looked the part. He's a big guy, big body.
Another NCAA football cover athlete?
Yes, that's right, and maybe that's what's going on here on my list.
And at the time, that was one of the best college football teams ever.
Ooh. Yeah.
If not the best ever, besides 2019 LSU, of course.
And, he ran that team perfect. He was
Yeah.
great. Undefeated team.
Yeah.
You know what the problem was, though, right? He's left-handed.
Yeah.
Name me a successful left-handed quarterback in the NFL.
Young.
Sit Steve Young.
Mark Brunell.
Yeah, no. Tim Tebow's
all
more
I got.
successful.
Mike Vick.
Yeah, Mike Vick.
Mike
a little
Vick's
bit.
probably the
best.
only answer you can give. Yeah.
But as a runner, not
that's
necessarily as
something
a
right
passer.
there, ain't it?
I mean, the
Tua.
ball does spin the other direction.
Tua, he's a lefty.
Tua sucks.
Well, Tua's, yeah,
We're gonna find
Tua might
out.
be on the list.
This
Fred
is the year.
Segal is a Miami Dolphins fan, and he thinks Tua sucks.
He
so
didn't say that.
if
That's
anybody
where
watches
He
the
just
video,
said Miami's a dumpster.
That's where
fire.
quarterbacks go to die.
Did you see the expression on his face when you said
he was
that?
distraught.
It was just disgust.
He put his head in his hands.
He
yeah.
couldn't even hardly talk. He's like,
He's a former lawyer, so if he can't talk,
I wanted to ask him about the Marlins
Must have
tanking
quit.
their franchise after the
Yeah,
World Series win.
I didn't want to. I didn't want
Pour
to ruin
salt
his
on
day.
an open wound there. Maybe he'll watch the second half of this podcast and hear all that. But number 2, and obviously I had no choice but to root for this guy and hope he would do well because we traded away all of our future draft picks, and that's Ricky Williams.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah,
That's a good
Ricky
pick.
that's
Williams.
a great one.
I had no choice but to be on board with him.
Hey, but you know the great thing, and that was one of the things I wanted to bring up to Fred when we had him on here.
First
Have you looked at what we got, Mr. Segal?
Bill he had a bunch of good questions.
Hey,
Bill and him hit it off.
The when we traded Ricky Williams to the Dolphins,
Yeah.
and we put all these incentive. Well, we had these incentive breaks. So, if he rushed for 1,000 yards, we'd get another draft pick.
Yeah.
Or if he rushed for this, or he was all pro, we'd get another draft pick.
Really?
I'd like to see how much we recovered from. I know we traded away our entire draft to draft him, but we got a lot back. When he went to Miami and he was at least above average,
Yeah.
we got a lot of stuff back from that.
I mean, it was probably like buying a Lexus brand new, then trading it in, and
oh yeah.
Did they recover the price for the wedding dress?
yeah.
Did they get that
That's
back?
a heck of an analogy.
Yeah, 'cause-
Yeah.
Well, no, didn't he wear a
Oh,
wedding dress
yeah,
one
you're-
time?
that's
what I'm talking about.
He's
Cover.
being literal.
on the cover.
That's right.
Wasn't Mike
Him and Mike Ditka.
Mike Dicka's on there with him?
Yeah.
That's why he's number 2 on my list. I was married to the pick. So,
I saw I think there was a video that came out sometime in the past year or so about someone that like went and spent like a week with him on like some island in like
Dude, he's stowed off
the
now,
Caribbean
man.
or something. He
Yeah.
just like smokes a lot of weed, and they say he's just a cool guy.
Yeah.
they say he's actually really nice.
Yeah.
Isn't there a 30 for 30?
There's
Maybe.
it's called Run Ricky Run.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
good.
I've
If you haven't
watched. It's
it.
really good.
So I listened to him the other day talking on a podcast about how he initially got caught with the weed. He said, when he was with the Saints, they tested like at a certain time, and then when he moved over to the Dolphins, because you got tested once throughout the year, and he knew when it was going to be, and then after that he was good. Well, when he went to the Dolphins, their time was different. But once you're in the program, like they test you like every week or multiple times a week. So like he was, a pothead. He was addicted to marijuana, so he couldn't stop. And that's kind of what undid him. But
Great pick.
So number 1, and I alluded to it earlier. Danny Warfel, man, I was a fan. I was probably he was doing that in '96, so I was like 8 years old. Big time Danny Warfel fan. I even have a Florida Gators mini helmet clock. It's about the same size as that Tech one. Used to sit up in my room. My cousins went to University of Florida, oddly enough, the same time he did.
And he was there. That's when Steve Spurrier was coach.
Yeah, head ball coach was there. Had some big talent come out of. I mean, they were a national powerhouse, and 2, I liked them because they were challenging Florida State.
Yeah,
right, because that was during Bowden's heyday as well, and a lot of good games. And dude, if you played NCAA football around that time, or if you played NCAA football in the early 2000s, and you could get the classic teams, and go play with the Florida Gators from that era, it was a lot of fun. But Danny Warfel, his knock was his arm strength. I was too young to really care about that. Got drafted by the Saints, started for the Saints, just not very good. The man's actually a preacher now.
Really?
And Jonesboro Hodge connection, I believe he did some work with Gabriel Bryant whenever Gabe went down there to that. It's kind of like the youth challenge program down there for
that
football players.
Desire Street Academy.
Desire Street Academy, yeah. Gabriel went down there and played. Oh, speaking of our guy, by the way, it didn't work for Gabe. Speaking of Segal, by the way, I really wanted to ask him what he thought about Marty Booker because he was talking about careers
Didn't
come
even
to
think
die.
about that,
Marty
man.
Booker was all pro.
Yeah, he thrived there.
He was all pro with the Bears, and then he went to Miami.
Miami.
Actually, Booker's still in Miami, from what I understand.
Yeah,
Really?
he is.
Yeah, he got married and he never left. He has a family down there.
He got
forgot about
that.
He's came back like once or twice since he went down there.
Yeah.
And that's it.
So rattle off your list real quick.
So 5 through 1. So David Carr, Tim Couch, Matt Leinart, Ricky Williams, and Danny Wolf.
All right.
Quarterback heavy, but
yeah,
me too.
I mean, those are the ones that you think about the most, honestly, because you see so many that are dominating college.
I'm just a fan of that. I love the position. I love everything that goes into the evaluating talent and why guys are good, why they're not. So, who's up next? Any
I'll go.
takers? Josh?
All right.
All right. Well, number 5, I had Matt Leinart, but I'm gonna change it.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with RG3.
Yep.
Robert
Yeah,
Griffin
that's a good
III.
one.
Pro bowler as a rookie. Injuries killed him. I mean,
He got hurt in the playoff game his rookie year, I believe.
yeah,
right?
and never was the same player.
His-
Went to Washington, was one of the most lopsided trades ever. I mean, it was terrible.
His ankles look like Kevin Durant's.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude had chicken legs. And
Yeah.
when I saw him running around on his legs, I was like, "There's no way this dude can sustain hits."
Didn't make it a year.
And was it a hit or was it just him just being an
I
explosive?
think
athlete?
he got sacked, and he came
I want
down.
to say he was like near the sideline.
Yeah.
I thought it was middle field.
It was
thinking of Alex Smith.
Alex Smith.
It was
okay.
bound to happen. I
Yeah.
mean, he
Yeah.
ran so much, you just eventually going to get caught the wrong way.
And that's what makes Lamar Jackson so impressive. Yeah. He's never really had that big time injury yet.
God, don't jinx him.
Yeah.
Clay's will have to have a funeral service. Clay will have to mourn him.
Just wait for that AFC North preview.
Hey, and speaking of, he played. There's a famous picture of RG3, Lamar, and somebody else, all three in the backfield at the same time in one play. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, whenever he was Lamar's backup.
Oh,
for the
yeah,
Ravens.
Yeah, they had them all three in and somebody else. It was another
I think it was
guy
another
who was a
Heisman winner. Mark Ingram, probably.
Mark Ingram, there it was.
Yeah,
And
sure
they had all
was.
three of them in
Yeah.
the backfield at one time.
Yeah,
Shout out John Harbaugh.
yeah, that's a good pick though.
But a
RG3.
great talent, but just injuries got him. Number 4, Trent Richardson. He mentioned him. He had a really good rookie year. I think he only played like 4 years in the league. He just went down.
Yeah.
After that, never was the same player. Let's see, number 4. This was probably before y'all's time, but I know Bill will know. Brian Bosworth.
The Boz.
The Boz.
Yes.
Number 1 overall pick. He was like a sure thing, no miss. He was he won a championship with Oklahoma. He was the Butkus Award winner like twice.
Look the part.
I mean,
Steroids.
and not only that, he was the
Allegedly.
first one that I remember to rock the mullet, and it's still going to today.
Yeah.
Great 30 for 30 too.
Oh yeah.
Him and Billy Ray Cyrus.
Brian and the
Billy Ray
Boz or
Cyrus,
something
I
like
forgot.
that.
Hey, and I love the when he was playing for the Seahawks and Bo Jackson and the Raiders came up there, and they're just
Bears.
thinking, oh man, he trucked
Yep.
Bosworth.
They show
So
that in the
bad.
30 for 30 too.
Yep. Yeah.
But he was one of the greatest linebackers ever. I mean, in college. I mean, he was great.
When he was a rookie at camp, he came to camp one day in a freaking helicopter. So
Yeah.
he was like big time before.
Oh, he was a character, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, he got a lot.
I'm sure there was a lot of drugs and steroids and all that, was a problem with the demise of him. But anyway, definitely a bust.
for sure.
Oh yeah.
Number 2, I got Ryan Leaf. Number
yeah.
2. He was number 2 behind Peyton Manning in the draft. Everybody was like tossing up who we're going to pick, which one's better.
And they'll tell you like they were really having to decide between him and Peyton.
Yes. I mean,
Yeah, it
in
was a real
college,
debate.
he was great.
That's one of the chapters in his book as well. It's on
Oh,
Ryan
really?
Leaf.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And he only played 4 seasons, I think, in the NFL. Well, didn't even really play
I was about
much.
to say he probably didn't really even play.
And he had a bad problem with drugs. He actually came out about it, and I think he's actually helping people
He's
with
a
drugs
like a
now.
speaker now.
Did he go
Yeah.
broke?
Probably.
I think so.
I mean, he made $31 million off of that.
Dan
rookie
Patrick
deal.
has him on a pretty good bit.
Yeah,
It seems like he's a real
goes
guy.
around and he almost preaches.
Yeah, he's a real. He seems to be a real great guy.
He must
now.
be like a for real 12-stepper, does his steps.
Yeah, he got hooked on painkillers. Like a lot of these NFL players do. But the doctors are giving them to him. I mean, they're part of the problem also.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
And number one, I got to go with what I think is the all-time bust in NFL history, Jamarcus Russell.
I knew he wasn't going to be good.
But I'll shout out to him. 6 years, $61 million. Hey, he done something right.
He ain't broke.
I bought a whole lot of lean.
A whole lot of lean. Went through a whole lot of drive-thrus.
and now first-round picks don't get squat, right?
That is true.
So that was a little bit before my time, but did LSU people, did y'all how big were y'all into him?
I wasn't.
I didn't think he was going to be that great.
Really? So I can't really talk about it.
I tell you one thing he did. He had the biggest arm.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever seen where he's kneeled down at the 50-yard line, throwing through the end zone. I mean,
I remember being at the Manning Passing Academy, and he was a senior in high school, and they let the seniors throw with the pros and the college kids, and the Mannings were just sitting back in awe of this kid because he was, rocketing it across the field. And I mean, he was great at LSU. It just, I can't really remember what it was about him, but I mean,
it just never felt like he was.
When you heard that they sent him a fake tape or blank tape and was like, "Hey, did you watch the film?" He's like, "Yeah." Wasn't surprised.
Use that in draft day.
Yeah. Just
I sent that to Bo Callahan.
There you go.
Playbook.
Well, when he came,
whenever they asked Bo Callahan about that, he said, "Oh yeah, I watched that. I forgot."
When he went to the college football game wearing the Alabama
boy
chain,
with
the big elephant on it after leaving LSU, I mean I had nothing for him after that.
Yeah, that was
a good list
one.
for sure.
Good list. I'll go ahead and go.
All right.
I didn't really take I didn't really go down the bust way that you could have, biggest bust or anything like that. I went from the standpoint of these guys might have still had good careers, and I thought they'd be superstars.
Yeah.
So start off with number 5, Aaron Hernandez.
Where's Bill's first pick?
Where's he now? Is he still in the league?
I think so. He's still hanging around.
Oh, God.
In hell. Most likely.
But hey,
my goodness.
What could have been, though? What could have been? If he makes just a couple of better decisions, he's probably one of the best tight ends of all time. And the Patriots probably win 17 more Super Bowls or something.
If he wasn't murdering people.
Yeah, if he wasn't killing folks.
Like a decision, don't shoot this guy?
Or these guys.
That's just that we know of.
Yeah. Hey, no telling. But,
Dude,
them penalties, they believe in
30 for 30 on that college football team.
They got to, man.
God,
They have to.
The preacher and the murderer.
And
we're going to do one.
I know I didn't grow up where he grew up, but, man, I mean, you're making millions. You got, and I don't.
How can you not stay out of trouble?
I mean, but you can't distance yourself. Yeah, you can't distance yourself from where you're from.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Honey Badger said it. I mean,
he was
once he got out of New Orleans, Baton Rouge area, he could concentrate and get his stuff together.
Shout out Pat Pete.
But man, Hernandez, yeah.
See, that's my number 5.
He could have been great if he wasn't a psychopath.
Oh, absolutely. I think it could have been
have.
awesome. Especially paired with Gronk.
Man, that would
have been
something.
They were nasty.
He would have needed
together.
a wide receiver up there, man.
And honestly, it really, when him and Gronk were together, it was really more him than Gronk.
At that point,
people don't remember that because his reputation's been tarnished. But, neither here nor there.
Tarnished. It's real. It is what it is.
Being nice.
Yeah. What a note.
My reputation got tarnished by my murdering.
Yeah. So let's go on to number 4. Number 4, Marcus Mariota.
Oh, he's a nice guy. Hold on now. He's a starter now.
You don't know what he's going to do this year.
He's not going to become a superstar like I thought he was going to be.
Okay.
I loved him at Oregon, man. I thought he was way better than Jameis.
The unis got you.
Oh, absolutely. They did. Everything he did looked amazing because of the uniform.
He had speed, too.
I definitely thought he was going to be better than Jameis.
I really did too, and I was shocked he did not get picked ahead of Jameis.
He's on the list for comeback player of the year.
Hey,
him and Jameis both.
Both of them. We'll see who's better.
Marcus Mariota, Carson Wentz. I'll never stop believing in them two. I don't know why.
Carson Wentz has got a mental.
That would be
thing.
a good pick.
There's something going on mentally that throws him off.
I can't pick him because I actually like him still. So I can't pick him. I still think Carson Wentz is.
Mariota had a heck of a game with the Raiders.
Drafted.
I think got him this gig.
He did.
I'm about to pick him up in one of them leagues I'm in because I need a quarterback. Number 4, Marcus Mariota. Number 3, Darren McFadden.
Great pick.
Darren McFadden was absolutely sensational with Felix Jones in Arkansas. And I knew he was going to be a superstar, but didn't he get drafted by the Raiders?
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Played about 7 years there, then went to the Cowboys.
I mean, he was pretty good, though, when he was there, I felt like.
Didn't he have a lot of injuries, too, though?
He had a couple, 1,000-yard seasons, 1 or 2, maybe.
I think he made a Pro Bowl.
But
he was never what
he picked, top 10?
More than likely.
He was never Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, he was never what
he was not you what you saw in college.
Exactly. He was an absolute game breaker and game wrecker in college.
Fourth overall.
Fourth overall pick. There you go. How many Pro Bowls? 1?
None.
He
had a serviceable career. I mean, he had 1,100 yards one year and almost that another year. But
never
other than
scored
that,
more than 10 touchdowns.
Yeah, it looks like he was a victim of the split running back position.
And they also had Peyton Hillis there with those two.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Yes.
They had talking about a 1-year guy, man. Peyton Hillis had an insane year with the Browns 1 year.
Yeah.
They had those 3 running backs on the same team. Is that not crazy?
Mm-hmm.
So, number 3, I always think back to him and Felix Jones at Arkansas. It's something. Then number 2, Reggie Bush.
Yeah.
Everybody thought he was going to be one of the best running backs of all time when he came out of USC. And he came to our Saints and yeah, he was good, but he was never just absolutely amazing. He had flashes of it, but
I think he was amazing.
Really?
I think for 4 or 5 years, I was.
Here's where Ricky went wrong.
But he was supposed to be an all-time great.
He had an identity crisis. He was not an every down back. He wasn't in college, so why would he be in the NFL? I mean, he was thunder and lightning in college with what his name?
Lindell
White. Yeah. And dude, Reggie, you're not made to go between the tackles. And when he left and went to Detroit, I was hurt by it because I felt like he had a ton of success with the Saints. Now, I didn't think he was going to be the superstar that he was in college, but I knew he was explosive. He just needed space, and he would make magic, and he did. But then he was like, "No, I want to be an every down back." I'm like, "Bro, that's death sentence for someone."
Yeah, I mean, he's not a between the tackles guy.
Well, his best season in New Orleans was his rookie year. He had 1,200 all-purpose yards and 8 touchdowns.
I think he was better with the Dolphins. Than
he was. Dolphins, he had 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns running.
Was it the Dolphins?
Well, he went to both of those.
Dolphins and then Detroit.
Okay.
Well, what he did for the Saints, he spread the field. They had the game plan for him. So, I mean, when he would go out,
his best
he would bring people
year.
away. I mean, I think for the Saints, he'd done what he needed to do. His stats wasn't just great, but he really helped the team a lot.
But and that's what that's pretty much the explanation right there.
Yeah.
His stats weren't great, but he did enough.
Good football player.
He was good, but he wasn't Reggie Bush.
He wasn't what you thought he was going to be.
Reggie Bush in college, he's the next great thing.
He didn't get over 5,500 total yards rushing in his career.
Yeah.
And he played for 10 seasons.
Yeah.
So
when they tried to run him up the middle, that's not his game.
But he pretty much had about the same, if not more, when he was at New Orleans. His receiving yards were on par, if not more, than his rushing yards.
Well, I think he was better at that. That's what he was good at, catching the ball and running.
But if you combine the two, I mean, you got a freaking weapon, though. You know what I'm saying?
1,200 yards ain't that good. All purpose.
And that was his best year. His rookie year.
That's not that good.
Every time he was back to receive punts, did you not just think, okay, something can happen?
He could break it, yeah.
Because that's what you were conditioned to believe after watching him at USC.
Yeah, and I get what you're saying. But I guess my expectations for him weren't as high as the hype.
I was also like 11 whenever he came out, so I was thinking, oh my God,
number 2
like he would Danny
when
Werfel.
he was in college, dude. I mean, and even in flashes in the NFL, dude. I mean, like the one of him going over the guy, over
the left side.
Steelers, was.
It's like he's my Danny Werfel, like you had, I guess.
And I guess to his credit, he probably would have had more yards had he played at a different place. But he could have had such a long career, successful career with the Saints. And he was a very important part of the depth of that offense. The Saints offense could kill you because they had thunder and lightning in the backfield. Then they might have a guy like Jimmy Graham at the tight end.
Jeremy Shockey, wasn't it?
Shockey the Super Bowl year. They might have a Darren Sproles out there.
Well, that's what I was about to say. He was more Darren Sproles than he was Alvin Kamara.
Yeah.
And that's not what you ever thought would have happened.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, Kamara's had a better career than him in
you take
3
a
years.
running back number 2 overall.
That
you're
won the
expecting you're expecting him to be a
Well,
3-down back.
They took the Heisman away.
He had the Heisman when he got drafted.
He I don't know. Reggie was just he was a different kind of back.
And what he brought to that team, I mean, at that time when they drafted him, the reception he got when I remember the story, he went into, I don't know if it was Sean Payton brought him in, somebody brought him into Emerald's in New Orleans and said the whole restaurant stood up and applauded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They just
he was
drafted
supposed
him.
to be the savior.
And they loved him too. I mean, I don't think Saints fans were ever down on him.
I mean, I got a jersey
left.
downstairs.
Yeah.
So
Run, Reggie, run.
So
Absolutely.
y'all were a little bit older. Whenever he got drafted, what did y'all think? Did y'all think he was going to be a receiving back? Is that all y'all thought he was going to be?
There's no way you're being true.
I mean, y'all thought he was going to be that two-way superstar. Like,
I mean, the closest guy to him since him is probably Christian McCaffrey.
Or Kamara.
Or Kamara. But Christian McCaffrey got picked top 10.
I thought he was going to be a stud.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I thought he was going to be a RB1.
I never expected him to go between the tackles, though.
But for the number two
overall
pick, you were
he's to be a
okay with what
gadget
he
guy?
did?
I guess.
Number 2 overall pick, gadget.
We won a Super Bowl with him. I'm happy.
What were we looking
Pierre
for
Thomas
at that
won a
time,
Super
too,
Bowl.
I mean, the Super Bowl year, he had 700 yards. So I mean, that's even disappointing.
Did he come in?
I think he was hurt some.
Did he come in with Deuce?
No, Pierre Thomas was there, wasn't he?
Pierre Thomas.
But Deuce didn't win the Super Bowl.
No. But did he come in with Deuce? Yeah, so he came in with Deuce.
He came in with Drew Brees.
We had a Pro
yeah,
Bowler
but I mean, Deuce
in the
was there.
backfield.
Deuce was already there.
But what, Deuce's final year of his career?
No, Deuce played a couple of years with him, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah,
Deuce tore his ACL during the
06
05.
rookie year. Deuce had 1,000 yards.
Who else went in that draft?
And that was it. Deuce played 2 more years and never had more than 400 yards. So rookie year, which was Reggie's best year, was the only year he ever played with Deuce.
Okay. Who else went in that draft early, like top
Was
5?
that
Mario
picks?
Williams.
I say
was
Mario
the top
Williams was number
pick.
1 overall.
I'm looking.
2006 NFL draft.
That's the only one I can remember.
Vince Young.
Was that the E.J. Manuel draft?
Vince Young, DeBrickashaw Ferguson, A.J. Hawk, Vernon Davis, Matt Leinart, Jay Cutler.
I mean, we really didn't do bad. I mean,
well, the first
it's
4
the number 2 overall pick.
The first 4 picks, 3 were Pro Bowlers. Reggie wasn't.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and 2, Reggie kind of fell victim to being in an offense that was just loaded anyways.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he didn't have to do as much,
But I'm not just like, hindsight 2020. I really never thought he was going to be an every down back. I thought he was just
that was a bad pick by the Saints.
No, I just thought he was the most electric player in college football.
Yeah,
maybe ever.
And he was never electric in the NFL. Really.
I did expect him to do a lot.
He
more
never
in
had
NFL.
double-digit
I
touchdowns.
will definitely agree.
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah, he never got double-digit touchdowns.
But I think he was kind of a victim to like just being a part of the system. I mean, look at Colston. I mean, Colston never made a Pro Bowl.
That's also because of what Colston was and where he was.
Yeah, I mean, Colston was a strike of gold. He came out of
he never had the
nowhere
name recognition,
Hofstra,
except for around here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they spread the wealth in New Orleans that year.
And I think they always did with Breeze and with Peyton, but
until the 2019 Michael Thomas year when he was everything in the offense.
And the other team knew it, couldn't stop it. Yeah, that year.
God, we ran so many quick
Exactly.
slants, man. All right,
No, that was number 2. Number 1, Jadeveon Clowney.
I almost picked him too.
Yep. Never had double-digit sacks. Has never gotten to 10 sacks in a season. And everybody thought, like, oh, my God, here comes Lawrence Thomas or whatever that dude's name is. Ain't that his
Lawrence
name?
Taylor.
Lawrence Taylor, that guy. Everybody thought, like, oh, my God, here he comes again. You know, after the hit he had in that game against Michigan. You know, like, everybody's like, oh, my God.
He killed that guy.
Oh, and isn't he the one that didn't he set out his senior year?
No, he actually got hurt.
He tried getting the rule changed.
Yeah, kind of like Maurice
sophomore
Clarett did.
Yeah.
You know, but he actually got hurt too a little bit during that season. But yeah, he's just never panned out to be what everybody thought he was going to be.
So to go back to Reggie with the Pierre Thomas situation. So Deuce goes down Reggie's second year. Pierre Thomas is a rookie. Pierre runs for 200 yards and a touchdown that whole season. Reggie's the running back 1 pretty much the whole time with whoever the crap Aaron Stecker is. Never heard of this guy in my life. And Reggie had 500 yards, 4 touchdowns rushing, 400 yards, 2 touchdowns receiving as the running back.
Sounds like a lot of passing.
I was going to say Breeze had 5,500 yards.
Yeah.
Breeze had 4,400 yards, and 18 picks. 28 touchdowns. But, I mean, that was the time Reggie should have made that step, second year, number 2 overall pick, and he didn't even get 1,000 all-purpose yards.
Yeah. And, you know.
There was a lot going on with the Kardashians.
He also fell.
That's right.
Hard to keep up with them.
He fell at the same time as, like, Pierre Thomas, who was a great Saints running back. You know, one of our best running backs in Saints history, in my opinion.
And what was Pierre's draft? Did he even get drafted?
Yeah, 4th round maybe, out of Illinois. Is that right?
I can't even. It's not even listed.
That was a great pick for the Saints.
His reference.
God, yeah, man. That Thunder, you know, back, but that could also catch a screen.
Undrafted. So Reggie Bush he got beat out by undrafted Pierre Thomas.
That is a big disappointment. I just never thought he was like between the tackles. I thought just give him space and let him run.
Well, and they did that.
They
never really did it.
They couldn't do it. So, yeah, that's my list. Jadeveon Clowney, he still disappoints me to this day.
Well, Clowney, I've never seen anybody get so much recognition off of one play. I mean, he boosted up the draft board with one play.
And his high school highlight tape.
Well, did he have some big measurables though?
Like, he's a specimen.
He's a freak, yeah.
Yeah, he's a specimen,
and he's still solid, but he's not.
Didn't we sign him with the Saints last year for
no, they tried getting him when he went to the Titans.
Okay.
I think that was like mid-season or something. Yeah. I mean, he's solid. He's a good run defender, but he's never been that pass rusher that you think whenever you look at him, honestly. I'll go next. So my number 5 is every LSU running back the past 15 years.
Charles really hurt your feelings.
I mean, honestly, just think of all the guys that have came and
what could have been.
Yeah.
And the one we got now.
You start with Charles, Keeland, then you go to like Jeremy Hill, Spencer Ware, Alfred Blue. All of them guys, they all look good in college. They never do it. Fournette, Geis.
I almost put Jeremy Hill on my list.
Fournette and Geis.
I thought Geis actually was going to be good.
He would have been the best one, I think. And then Clyde, I'm not sold on
that's
Clyde.
What I'm talking about. Clyde,
that's another.
I'm not sold on him at all.
Yeah.
And he was the first round pick.
He definitely hasn't proved anything.
Cecil Collins.
Yeah, the last pick of the first round, wasn't he?
The Diesel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Talk about a guy who benefited from one magical year.
Yeah, no one knew who he was before that year.
Nope.
But do y'all remember his first game? He went off his first
Thursday
game.
Night Football. I believe.
Yes, and I thought, oh my goodness.
I traded for him that week.
And he didn't do anything hardly the rest of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just been so many times where, I mean, because every year LSU's got 2 or 3 guys that they run, and they all look really good at LSU. They go to the league, you're like, oh, this one's going to hit. It's never happened. I mean, have we ever had a Pro Bowler since, like, Joseph Adai?
Jeremy Hill.
Was he a Pro Bowler like 1 year?
We talked about that in LSU draft.
Well, his first year,
Kevin
he had
Baldwin?
1,100 yards.
Well, I mean, that's past 15 years.
Oh, you're out of that range.
So, 15 was what? 07?
Yeah.
So, since then, I mean, there's been so many names that have came through and went to the league, got drafted, but
Probably
never
one of the
panned
best
out.
ones was there for a long time was Kevin Falk with the Patriots.
Yeah. Well, him and then Adai, and then after that, it's.
I mean,
nothing.
Falk. I think we said he was the most probably the most
definitely.
successful.
Yeah,
LSU back.
Definitely. And then but crap, Fournette goes 4 overall, and never really stuck around. Crap, I don't think he made it through his rookie contract in Jacksonville, and he's decent in Tampa, but he's not definitely not what we thought he was going to be coming into LSU, and not what people thought he was going to be.
Adai only had 2 years over 1,000 yards.
Yeah, I mean he
won Pro Bowl.
He just feels more successful. Yeah,
he won a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
with
that
Indy.
too.
Well, if Fournette doesn't go to Jacksonville, if he goes to,
I mean, when he went to Jacksonville though, they were actually good that year. That was the year they went to the championship, AFC Championship.
And running backs are tough too, especially nowadays.
They are.
They don't have a shelf life. I mean,
you can't pick one in the first round though, because you can get one third or fourth round that's going to be as good or better.
Yeah.
I mean, Kamara, what was he? He was
third or fourth.
Yeah.
And Kamara's a different kind of guy too. He's an animal.
That's my number 5. There's just been so many that I've watched and I've thought they're going to be it, but never seems to happen, and don't know when it will. Number 4, Darren McFadden. That's another one that he's one of the first. He's about the beginning of my football knowledge, or remembering of watching football. That 2007 year, whenever was it 50-48, LSU lost to him in double overtime. I think he threw a touchdown in overtime. He did everything. Never really. He was never terrible in the NFL. He had some solid years for the Raiders and the Cowboys, but he wasn't what you saw on them college days. And another number 4 overall pick, him, Fournette. I think we mentioned another one earlier. Zeke, yeah. I mean, Zeke, he had a little bit better of a year, but career. Number 3, staying in the SEC, Laquan Treadwell. We talked about him a couple episodes ago, I believe. I mean, he seemed like the prototypical Ole Miss receiver. He looked like he was just going to translate to the NFL. Honestly, looking back at it now, he reminds me a lot of Justin Jefferson, that kind of possession receiver, and Stephon Diggs. He had that just solid body type, and you thought he was just going to go to the NFL and, I don't know, be
Did he
solid
get drafted
10, 15
by
years.
the Vikings?
Yeah.
Ironically enough, huh?
Yeah. I mean,
before all of them,
first round,
right?
Probably a year after Diggs.
Yeah, he had to be after.
I think Diggs was 14, and then Treadwell's probably 15.
You know what his nickname was?
Mm-mm.
Mega Quan. Boy, he didn't live up to the Megatron.
Not live up to that.
But yeah, I definitely thought he was going to be a star, and never really panned out. Number 2, Miles Jack.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I forget about Miles.
His
Jack.
Freshman year at UCLA, he was running the ball.
He was playing
while
both
playing
ways.
linebacker, and just seemed like he was going to be that stud.
He sat out a year. He sat out after his sophomore year.
Yeah, I think so.
He did.
And he's been a solid linebacker in the NFL, but I guess all that hype from college, it just seemed like, I think he fell to the second round when he got picked.
You have an injury?
I don't know. Probably. But I think he came in right around with that Saxonville team. Mm-hmm. And that was a great defense.
Right after it, probably.
Yeah. And I think he got drafted in 2016.
He was a freak in college.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like the Jabril Peppers feel. But he was a linebacker, and you felt a little bit better about him and his future.
Golly, he's never had more than 2.5 sacks in a season.
He's a middle
What year
linebacker.
did he come in?
Yeah, that's true. 2016.
Okay, yeah. And then they were good 17.
And then his tackles, he's had 3 years where he's been over 100, but that ain't nothing for a linebacker, though.
No, not really. I mean,
Especially
Darius
when
Leonard
you
gets
talk about
180 or something, I think, a year.
Yeah, he's barely hanging on to 100.
Number 1, it's a duo, Michael James and DeAnthony Thomas.
Yep. I just thought about them a minute
The
ago while I was
Oregon
talking
running
about
backs. Yeah.
Mariota.
I mean, you watch those guys, and God, there's no way
Something
that
about
they
the
weren't being
uniforms, man.
stopped. They weren't being stopped in college. And their speed, there's no way that they wouldn't translate to the NFL.
Kenyon Barner as well.
Yeah, a little bit to the left though, but he wasn't. I mean, those guys
came after those two.
Yeah, they were Heisman guys.
Well, DeAnthony Thomas has a Super Bowl with the Chiefs. He got moved to wide receiver when he came to the NFL, but still not what you expected whenever you saw him at Oregon.
There was no, and I honestly think if they came in a couple years later, they might would have fit with today's NFL. And another one that I didn't put on here, but kind of fits in that same realm is Dexter McCluster.
Yep,
from Ole Miss. I definitely thought he was gonna. I don't know. Those are just little gadget guys with incredible speed. Just thought they were gonna work out, but none of them really ever did. So yeah, that's my 5. Every LSU running back in the past 15 years: Darren McFadden, Laquan Treadwell, Miles Jack, and then the Oregon running backs: Michael James, DeAnthony Thomas.
Dexter McCluster was a fantasy cheat for one season. You could play him at running back or wide receiver.
Yeah, one of the few guys that could do that.
Yep.
And he'd take back a punt every now and then. So.
I think I
All
had
right,
him.
Bill.
I think I had him that year too.
Bill's list is going to be good.
All right. Yeah, it's going to be
have some date on it, huh?
Mediocre. We'll see. All right, so my number 5 is Maurice Clarett.
Yeah.
Anybody recall?
You looked him
Great
up,
pick.
and I was like, crap, I should have put him on my list.
Chance used to talk about him all the time.
Dude, man.
I mean, it seems like this guy from what? See, their freshman year, he wins national championship with Ohio State, and then dude just falls off the rails.
He wants to go pro like right then.
Yeah. And, I mean, he tried to – I guess he challenged the NFL draft eligibility stuff and then –
Yep, tried to sue the NFL too, I want to say.
Y'all think that ever changes?
No.
I think it might go down to like sophomore, but that'd be it.
Yeah.
Never could be allowed to be one and done.
Especially now that they're making money in college anyways, I don't think.
That's true.
Yeah, shouldn't be a big deal.
That's a great pick, though.
But that was
phenomenal.
Yeah,
when you mentioned him earlier, I was like,
another 30 for 30, right? Doesn't he have one about his whole team?
Like
his high
don't
school
know if
roots?
that's a 30 for 30.
Is it Youngstown? Yeah, Youngstown.
Yeah, I think it's just like a short
something.
thing. Yeah.
Okay. All right, number 4, Tim Tebow.
Okay, that's a good one.
I mean, I thought. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Football player of all time.
I didn't like Tebow in college, just because he played for Florida.
Yeah.
And he did his thing with LSU so many times. But I mean, I rooted for him when he was going to the pros because I mean, like I said, he was called
likable guy,
the best college football player of all time.
Yeah, good Christian, survived abortion. He went through a lot.
That's right.
So I mean, I had high hopes for him, but anyway, he let me down.
Youngstown boys, 30 for 30.
That was a 30 for 30?
Yeah,
okay, I couldn't remember if it was that or E60.
Oh, because it's about him and Jim Tressel.
Yeah.
I forget exists.
You know what, Tim Tebow, you know what always comes to mind, though, when I think of Tim Tebow, especially in college, is the T-blow dance done by the drunk LSU fan. Have you ever seen it? Oh, my God.
T-blow?
T-blow dance, yes. It is
I can only imagine what that is.
I'm not sure if we can talk about that on here.
Well, you need to look it up. We'll have to pull it up after the fact, but it's glorious.
Somebody should have said Tyrann Matthew to piss off Clay. Why
Excuse
didn't
me?
I do that, man?
What?
God, that'd have been great.
Hey, I'm only on
He's
number
been a
4.
multi-time All-Pro.
Somebody should have just said that.
Well, that'd have been a stupid pick.
Yeah, exactly. That'd have been the point.
I still got 3 picks left.
I mean, shout out to Tim Tebow, his big speech that he gave after that loss to the fans and everybody in Gator Nation. I'm sorry.
Speech.
I'm extremely sorry. We were hoping for an undefeated season. That was my goal. Something Florida's never done here. I promise you one thing. A lot of good will come out of this. You will never see any player in the entire country play as hard as I will play the rest of the season. You will never see someone push the rest of the team as hard as I will push everybody the rest of the season. You will never see a team play harder than we will the rest of the season. God bless.
Let's go play football.
Didn't they win the national championship that year?
So they didn't win another game. And they didn't lose another game.
Yeah.
All right. So he's a good motivational speaker, too.
That's all he is now.
Yeah, he's going to do a lot of that.
Hey, good baseball player, huh?
What a time that was
with the Mets.
What a time.
What about a tight end? Is he a good tight end?
Hey, he went with Urban for a little bit, didn't he?
I was going to say, Urban Meyer cut him after a week. So what does that tell you?
He should have done that right out of college.
Yep.
I mean,
he
really
wasn't a blonde, so
he had a shot if he'd have done it right out of college.
Yeah, I think he would have to.
I mean,
he could have been Taysom Hill.
He could have got
he looked like a
great pointers from Aaron Hernandez too,
Phenomenal
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. If only
I think they weren't they roommates.
How did he
in
not?
Florida?
How did he not straighten
change
out
his
Hernandez.
He's too far gone.
He's that's a failure. I'm sure he regrets it every day.
Number 3.
Part of his testimony.
Yeah.
My number
the one that got away.
R.I.P.
After his failed abortion. Yeah.
81 steps to changing your life.
All right, moving on to number 3.
Yeah.
Ryan Leaf.
Okay.
Yeah, are y'all familiar with the Ryan Leaf story?
I couldn't tell you what college team he played for.
Yeah, he was on my list.
San Diego was it? No, Washington.
Washington
Yeah.
State,
Okay.
something like that.
Shout
But
out Clay Thompson.
Washington State, actually, I believe.
he had the biggest, the most exciting meltdown in a
Talking to
an
the
NFL interview.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh man, he just said back off, leave me alone. And he didn't. It didn't go so well after that. My number 2. Now this goes back to the 80s.
Yeah.
Marcus Dupree.
Okay. Yeah.
Did y'all watch the? There's a 30 for 30 about it.
There's always 30 for 30s.
Yeah.
Don't know what team he played for.
He played. Well, he went to high school in Philadelphia, Mississippi, and
Your computer just died?
Oh yeah.
anyway, he went to high school in Philadelphia, Mississippi, and
Oh yeah, that's right down the road.
he was recruited by Barry Switzer at Oklahoma, and gosh, I mean, they won a national championship. Sorry,
We're having
Hope
difficulties.
the fire marshal never comes up here. We're not
Fire
up to
marshal?
code at
No.
all.
So anyway, he goes to Oklahoma. Barry Switzer. I don't know if he had discipline issues, but there was all kind of stuff about. I mean, I know there was a lot of recruitment violations in the new car that got brought to his house and all that kind of stuff. But
And his dad getting a new job at the local mill.
yeah. So anyway, I think after his sophomore season, he quit. I mean, he was. I don't know if he was a little bit of a prima donna when he was at Oklahoma, and but I mean, he was just phenomenal as a freshman. And then he's one that he said, okay, I'm quitting, and then I think he went in the '86 NFL draft.
Round 12, pick 327.
Yeah. But he ended up. I mean, he was drafted in the USFL and
For
he
the
played
New Orleans Breakers.
Yeah, played for the Breakers, and but he had a bad knee injury. I don't know if it was ACL or what it was, but I mean, he would probably today he would have been rehabbed and got right back out there. But in 1984, 85, 86,
Yeah.
they just the recovery wasn't there like it is now. So, but yeah, if you watch that 30 for 30, man, I mean, he was going to be great.
Yeah, his freshman year in college, 1,400 rushing yards, 12 touchdowns. And I think it says he was part of the wishbone offense, like one of the first teams to do that. Oh, wait, no. For the fourth game, Switzer abandoned his wishbone offense to make Dupree the tailback in the I form. So he was so good that he went away from Barry Switzer's offense. He was the best player on the field. Earl Campbell's the only guy I ever saw that was that physically ready as a freshman. It's pretty good statement from Barry Switzer.
Yeah, and I think he could have been one of the best ever at running back.
Yeah,
well, second best, but anyway. So my number 1 is going to be somebody we talked about with the book interview earlier, and that's Tony Mandarich.
Yeah.
Man, he was like, I just can't overemphasize. And you'll see these the Sports Illustrated covers.
Definitely on steroids.
And
definitely.
Hey, and I knew it as a as a
wee lad,
dude, a wee lad. Well, I was not his age, but I mean,
you already had the Mitchell report.
Yeah.
You're reading it in college.
He exploited, and he said,
look at
he
Nick
said
Saban.
there wasn't an offensive lineman on that team that didn't go in the training room and stick each other in the butt.
Hey.
Injections.
Sure.
I see a young Nick Saban.
Nick
there,
Saban
too.
should be banned for allowing that to happen
Saban
under
looked
his
like he was
watch.
on He took a cycle or two back then.
Oh my God.
And I shared this with y'all, but I wanted to say it on the podcast. One of the comments that the Giants GM said about Mandrich, because they were worried about the Cowboys picking Aikman ahead of Mandrich, or were the Cowboys going to pick Mandrich instead? And the Giants GM said, "You can get quarterbacks anywhere, but you can't get Mandriches." He said, "He's like what OJ was for a running back."
Amen. Amen.
Have y'all ever seen the college football movie, The Program?
Oh yeah,
I've heard of it.
Okay, so is that not Lattimore off of that show?
Oh yeah, pretty close.
I mean, did they not base that off of him? I mean, it's so much like him.
Yep.
What is that?
Is he the one that would paint his face up?
Yeah, it was all on the steroids.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that. I mean, it looks.
Y'all hadn't watched that?
A lot like.
Did y'all see that? Oh, you got.
Y'all haven't seen The Program?
No, I've heard about it though.
And they hadn't seen Blue Chips either.
Was the program? Was that on ESPN?
No, it
wasn't ESPN.
Mm-mm.
ESPN did something and had a really big jacked up dude too.
That was Playmakers.
Playmakers, that's it.
And I loved that was my favorite show on TV. The Playmakers.
Yeah.
And I think the NFL got them to cut it out.
I have it on DVD. I got it at McKay's the last time we went with Chase and them up there.
Oh man,
I have it at the house. I need to watch it.
You ever heard of Omar Epps, the black?
Oh yeah,
guy?
yeah.
Okay, he's the running back on the program.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need to look that up.
Oh, you need to watch that. But
I'm
whenever
into
you
that kind
watch
of
it,
junk.
you'll know exactly what I'm talking
Yeah.
about when you see Lattimore.
Yeah.
So that's me. I'm Maurice Claret, number 5, Tim Tebow, number 4, Ryan Leaf, number 3, Marcus Dupree, number 2, and the incredible bust Tony Mandrich at number 1.
Y'all got any on
I got about 5 I want to talk about.
Henry Ruggs.
Jesus! I was about to say him in a minute
Speaking
too. I
of
wasn't gonna lie.
Too soon.
Toby Gerhart from Stanford.
I thought of him too.
The
Good
dude
fella.
had 28 touchdowns one year rushing, and
should have won the Heisman.
Should have won the Heisman. The closest ever Heisman race between him and Mark Ingram.
Yeah.
I thought
remember
he
watching
was
that
the
at Gerhart's
next
house.
big thing. He was insane. Justin Blackman from Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
Look up his college stats. They're absolutely ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was like the next Megatron.
Dude, I thought he was going to be insane.
Number 5 overall, I believe.
Yeah, he went to Jacksonville. So there you have it. O.J. Howard, after what I saw him do to LSU in the championship game.
Yeah.
I thought.
He honestly did nothing in Tampa.
No.
Like,
he didn't do anything
that's
at all.
crazy.
Is he still in the league?
Yeah, he's with
Buffalo.
Buffalo.
First guy.
OJ.
First guy.
OJ since who?
OJ.
OJ.
Reggie Ragland from Alabama, middle linebacker.
There's about 5 middle linebackers from Bama. Rolando McClain, Reuben Foster.
Who I was
Mac
pissed.
Wilson. I was pissed he went 1 pick before Ramchat because I wanted him as a Saint at 32.
I did too.
I didn't want him because of his history, man.
I don't give a crap. I wanted a tackler.
Yeah, I wanted
we didn't have anybody.
Did he get arrested a few times while he was in the
Oh yeah. In
Did
Washington.
Reuben? I think he had
didn't
injury problems.
That might be what it was. He got
Rolando
something
McClain
happened.
had the all-field stuff.
Yeah. Monty Ball from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And then Michael Crabtree.
Yeah, Crabtree was solid. He was never
borderline. I thought he was gonna be a stud.
Richard Sherman ended him.
Yeah,
he did.
I like Crabtree.
Put a bomb like Crabtree on me.
What about John Ross? Did y'all consider him a bust? He was short talked up.
He got drafted because of that freaking 40 time,
I know.
man.
And we talked about that
Yeah.
range that he went in with like 6 Pro
But
Bowlers
he
around
has
him.
been terrible.
Yeah.
I never understood that pick.
He was in the top 10.
Yeah, because of that 40.
Couple that
Who
I
got
had,
him? The Bengals?
They had him. I don't know if
the
he's
Bengals
still there.
drafted him, didn't
Yeah, he
Yeah,
went
but
to
I
the
don't think he's there
Giants for a little bit.
He's been.
Oh yeah, they cut him after like 2 years.
Hey, Burrow
but
could probably make him work.
No, he don't
Run
fit,
deep.
He don't fit Burrow's game.
Some that I had, Tavon Austin.
Yep.
He
Pat
was
White.
electric. Yeah, Pat White. Mark Barron, another Bama guy.
Austin Collie.
Yeah, Austin Collie. Maurice Claiborne. I thought he was gonna. I thought he was gonna be a stud for
That's a good
LSU.
one. That's
Number
a good
4
one.
overall pick. Another one that we've talked about. 4 is just a bad pick.
Did he kind of start the DBU thing?
He was right after Pat Pete.
He was right after Pat Pete.
Yeah, he was the next. He was the next corner after Pat Pete.
Dallas, wasn't he?
I don't think he lasted through his contract.
Now, he ended up going to the Jets, didn't he?
Yeah, he got a payday from the Jets, but he was never that guy that we thought. Oh, he was 6th overall pick. Never mind.
He was never Pat Pete, which everybody thought he was going to be.
Won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs in 2019. Did not know that. A Jim Thorpe winner, unanimous All-American, SEC Defensive Player of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
7 picks in his NFL career.
Reggie Ragland was unanimous All-American as well in Defensive Player of the Year.
He played 5 years in Dallas. Didn't really play much. He had 4 picks in 5 years for Dallas. So
he was supposed to be an island over there.
Not great. Beanie Wells.
Yep, Ohio State.
I mean, if your name's Beanie, you got to be good. And then one that's a little more personal and local, Kenneth Dixon. I really thought he was going to be freaking good.
Yeah. If he wouldn't have went to the Ravens, I think he would have been okay.
Yeah, because he was just in a backfield that was lost.
Well, his problem was off-field stuff, a lot like
PEDs. Yeah, he did have that. I forgot about that. But he got hurt, I think, in the preseason.
Yeah.
If he would have went to a place where he could have been the guy, instead of being in Baltimore, who we know is kind of like San Fran, who uses multiple running backs no matter how good you are, he could have probably.
And there's a couple other Quentin Patton, we talked about him the other day.
Quentin Patton blows my
Trent
mind.
Taylor,
to this day.
how is he not just a solid 4th receiver in the NFL?
He might be this year. He lit it up for
his was injuries too. He had a lot of injuries.
Dude, San Francisco fans and beat writers hate him.
Yeah.
I think the coach must like him. He's kept him around. He's still there.
He's in
Cincinnati now.
Oh,
he almost won a Super Bowl
Edwards,
last year. He
that's
got
right.
on the roster just to
he
catch
made a couple
punts.
of catches. I remember.
I mean,
in the playoffs.
he set all kind of
To
records.
catch punts, and he ended up getting some run.
His quarterback,
Tim
Tay.
for a touchdown in one of the playoff games.
Him too. I mean,
I
he got drafted by
actually.
San Francisco. Thought he might step up, but I mean, I think size was a little thing for him. But,
Carlos Henderson.
Yeah. What about?
I don't want to.
I never understood why he went that high.
He was built well and he was fast.
He was. He was never better than Trent Taylor.
Oh no,
and he went like 3 rounds higher.
His build.
He just had that size.
And R.I.P. But Sack Daddy.
Yeah.
I thought about that.
You know.
Hey, what about Jimmy Graham? I mean, I think after he left the Saints,
he went downhill.
He was so legendary, though. I mean,
he might be borderline
as
Hall
a
of Fame,
Saint, but you look at what he did at Green Bay, Chicago.
He definitely dropped off.
I mean,
for sure.
It was almost like he was a non-factor when he went there. But and he was the focal point of the Saints' offense.
God.
I mean, I remember the year him and Gronk went back and forth for records. You know,
that was his rookie year.
Back and forth.
And this is a dude that was a basketball player.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't even a football player.
Shout out Antonio Gates.
Only reason that happened.
But I mean, after he left the Saints, I was so upset when he left.
Oh yeah, we were
Max Unger.
Him and Reggie were 2 guys that left to their detriment. And
did we get a first for him when we traded him?
We got Max Unger.
Max Unger, which was important.
Yeah, we needed him.
Did he? He never really did it though.
He played like a year and a half or 2 years, and he got hurt.
Yeah.
And we haven't had great tight end play since.
Nope.
We haven't had.
We have Ben Watson.
We haven't had
like
below average tight end play since.
Yeah.
Hey,
we've been without tight ends. We probably haven't had a tight end with more than 400
Troutman,
yards.
You're saying Troutman is not?
Yeah.
Has he ever shown me anything?
Not
this
yet.
year.
Our best tight end's been Josh Hill.
Yeah.
And honestly, have we had a tight end?
Well, I mean, I thought Cook was going to be something when we got Cook.
Comes here and sucks.
Well, Cook had
still blows my mind.
He had moments, and then God, that
had like
fumble
2
in the
touchdowns.
playoffs.
But yeah, the
that's
fumble.
unforgivable, man.
But since Jimmy left, we've been probably bottom 5 team in tight ends every year.
Yeah, we had Shockey and then Jimmy Graham. And I have nothing since.
It's been downhill. So,
y'all got anything else?
That's all the ones I have.
All right,
dude. What a podcast, man!
I think this is really good. This is fun.
Can't thank Fred Segal enough for coming on and doing his freezing cold takes and even jumping in and doing a dirty 5. I think that was big time for us.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm telling you, please follow his Twitter account. You won't regret it. I promise
he's
you.
About 3,000 away from 600K on Twitter.
Speaking of another one, by the way, not to get back into it, I just saw Mingo's name.
Mm-hmm.
That was another one, first round pick. I thought was going to be big because I really
Kinda
thought
ahead
he
of
was
his time.
hybrid. Well, he was hybrid. You know,
Yeah,
Kenny Vaccaro is another.
Yeah.
God.
I was just looking to see who all the Saints drafted ahead of Travis Kelce in that draft, because he was third round. And, so we got Kenny Vaccaro.
God, look at Xavier Rhodes on down there.
Mantateo. There we go.
I almost brought him up.
It's a good pick.
You would have been better to
we
bring
had
up
a
Mantateo's girlfriend.
selection because of,
she should have made the list.
That was a good
Saints had
tight
a
end
forfeited
draft.
selection that year
Kelsey
because
and
of
Ertz
the
both. And Eifert. That was a real good tight end draft.
The defensive bounty gate.
Hey, Bobby Trees.
Heck yeah. He's on there. You saying he's a bust? Eddie Lacy, that's one.
Point him out. Eddie Lacy ate his way out the league.
Teron Armstead drafted him ahead of
how big he is now.
Oh, we took Armstead right before Keenan Allen. That hurts.
Oh, look, Tyrann Mathieu was on there, too.
Amen. Probably the best player in that draft. Yeah, that was a good pod, though. Follow Freezing Cold Takes. We'll see y'all later. Let's take it out.
Hey, chop on.
Where's our can?
Get the trash can. We got a bang on it.
Oh, yeah, Astros leading the American League now. Just want to throw that out there.
Leading the MLB
Red Sox beat the Yankees tonight.
Heck yeah.
There we go.
This ain't how it's supposed to be. It should be just you and me.